Tuscaloosa is the place to be. Visit us now to save big for why so many are switching to BMW. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
Game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half.
We at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
And a big good afternoon to you. Welcome into the game, 52-7. You know who had the hardest job of the entire weekend? I did. Coming up with an ugly at 52-7. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, that responsibility is going to be on you because how do you find something ugly? Well, I guess we could always go to Jason Autry's crew that has, if you just Google the name Jason Autry, Autrey, SEC official, anytime he's on the field, you can always come up with an ugly. But today we'll do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. Today we'll give away one of those 2025 calendars. And why don't we put one of those, the Legacy Continues print in there as well as a mini print. You call in, you give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. I won't squeeze you too much to come up with an ugly, but if you'd like, you're welcome to share those. And you can go to DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. The special moments of Alabama Crimson Tide football. Alabama moves up. Will they move up in the college football playoffs? That will be released tomorrow evening. We'll have a lot of that. We'll talk about it. Tide109.com has got you covered, and we're going to have you covered even though that we're not going to be on the air tomorrow evening at 6:30, 6:45 when they're released. Alabama has put themselves in a spot. Think about where we're at. Chase, if you think about it just for a couple of minutes. Let's go back to after the Vanderbilt loss. Go to the Tennessee loss. Let that sink in just for a couple of minutes. Then you're coming back. You're struggling with South Carolina. Well, I'm sorry. You lose to Vanderbilt, come back, you struggle with South Carolina, go on the road, struggle with Tennessee, come back, and the momentum beginning to build. You beat the Missouri Tigers, quarterback, but you found some confidence in that rushing attack. You go to LSU, you beat them 42-13, and this team responded with one of those standard type wins. It's not about the opponent, and I labeled this in the good, the bad, and the ugly on my article on Tide109.com, is it's all about that starting point, right? How many times did we talk about it last week? We know Mercer, and even though we were trying to make them out to be a 9-1 football team, and they are, well, they're 9-2 now, but an FCS team, it's going to be high position in that particular bracket. But when you look at Alabama, played up to a standard. Listen, I've watched a lot of mid-majors come in here, and Alabama would not have that knockout punch, right? They would just kind of slow, okay, we get the job done, we win them by a couple of touchdowns. No, what did this Alabama football team do? They come out and beat somebody 52-7, and you play up to that standard, and I think they achieved that when you look at it. So Jalen Milroe, 11 of 16, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. I know Nick Sheridan said this earlier today, and I agree with him. Probably got hit a little bit too much. You'd like to see a little bit better. You don't want to have to run him as much as you did, but you did. 6 carries, 43 yards, 1 touchdown. He continues to add to the statistical side, and you see some of the odds. Not saying that he will be a Heisman winner, but he could be a finalist. He could be in New York City. I think you got to look out at Boulder, Colorado. You go up to Boise, might see a winner in that area. Maybe it's the Western vote. Could there be somebody else? If Jalen Milroe puts this team on his back and you're able to beat Oklahoma, you're able to beat Auburn. Fear the thumb, by the way. Fear the thumb. 5 in a row. Fear the thumb. 5 in a row. We're looking for 5 in a row. If Auburn's able to win this, we could close the door on what will be another losing season for the Auburn Tigers. So if they're able to beat Texas A&M. But we'll talk more about that. We'll discuss that. 2:30 officially on ABC. That's been announced. You can read more about it at Tide109.com. But we're going to do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by Daniel Moore, and the bad and the ugly is sponsored by, who do you guys want to be sponsored by? SEC officials? By the way, I know via the SEC network, Greg Sankey talked about how we need to be more forgiving of the officials. No. Even Kalen DeBoer was frustrated with that crew. So anytime they're out there, it's always easy to fill in an ugly. So we'll have some fun today. We've got Drudy Armand coming up 2:15. We'll have a chance to feature him. Coming up at 3:30, we got Barrett Salee. And at 4 o'clock, we'll talk to Martin Houston. We're going to have some fun today with the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll take phone calls. We'll get to those. Robert in Mobile first up, coming up inside the game. And then Tuscaloosa Toyota powers the program each and every day, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com, the great dealership. How about a RAV4? How about a Highlander? How about a current Camry, Corolla, Tundra, Tacoma, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive? You can find those. Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Let's have some fun. We're not going to have fun this evening because everybody's going to watch my Cowboys get hammered, okay? Go ahead. Take your shots, Jackson. Go ahead. You're loaded for bear. I set it up. I put it up on a tee for you, man. That's my Cowboys. Go ahead. Fire away. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hit me. I don't care anymore.
Are you sure?
No, I mean, listen.
You sound like you care.
No, I'm trying to fight for that number 1 pick.
Oh, you want Jalen Milroe?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who I don't know. If
Travis Hunter? Who would the Cowboys get in the first round that would drastically improve their roster?
I don't know if you're going to give up on Dak Prescott. You just paid him. I mean,
well, that's true.
I mean, Jerry, you just made him the highest paid NFL quarterback or in the history of the NFL.
He's on IR now. Put him there today.
I think he shut it down. I think he just said, you know what?
I'm done for the season.
Yeah. Hey, we'll let you guys go get my replacement. I don't know where you go. I don't know. You might want to go get you a running back, but your running back's not going to be valued that high. But you need to find
Dylan Sampson, Ashton Jeanty.
I don't. But you're not going to take one that high. I mean, you just. I mean, what's the highest you see a back? I mean,
Bijan at 8 last year was highest in a while since Todd Gurley.
But I mean, if you're high on that list, I don't know if you're going to touch a back. I mean, you can get value later in the rounds and still get a quality back. But listen, my Dallas Cowboys, I just want us to work our way all the way to the bottom, man. I mean, why stop now? I mean, you're sitting here with 3 wins. Anyway, I mean, so I'm going to have fun today because I know I'm not going to have fun later on. Okay, I'm going to watch my Cowboys get hammered by the Houston Texans. So, hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Let's talk Alabama Crimson Tide football. And you know, I'd also like to admit that many times I'm selfish, okay? When you look at Alabama Crimson Tide football, we always devalue this Mercer game. Go out and talk to those walk-ons. Go out and talk to those scout team guys. The value of them playing. If this was an earlier game, like if Mercer's the second game of the season, you're not going to get those because you need your first-string rep guys. At this point in the season, Martin always has told me, for as long as I've known Martin Houston, been one of his best buddies for a long, long time, he always told me these games have value. And I'd always argue with him. And I'd always debate. But you see that reaction. You see those walk-ons. You see those scout team guys coming in. It almost reminds you, yes, there is a value for Mercer in the month of November. Because if that game was there, hey, that's one of those things that we'll talk about, we'll discuss. But it was nice to be able to see those guys, and even Kalen DeBoer recognizing many of those guys or as a group following the game, and you see different players out here tweeting about it, talking about those walk-ons. Tyler Booker, the ultimate leader on this football team. Drudy Armand coming up in a couple of minutes. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good and the bad and the ugly. Oh, yeah. Hey, I just got a message. Will you call down and check on our friends down in Baton Rouge? Chase, you're from that state, right, aren't you? Will you call down there and check on those guys? Because I just want to I want to take back something that I said, and I'm gonna go ahead and eat my crow. You got some crow over there? You got some crow? I'm ready to eat my crow right now. I'm ready to eat my crow. I said Brian Kelly would win a national title in the first 5 years. I'm admitting right now on public radio with millions of people turned into Tide 100.9. We've done the Netflix on Friday night. We've downloaded, we've killed the server. But I want to apologize. I said Brian Kelly would win a national title in the first 5 years. I don't know if he's going to make it 5 years. Now, I know it would take a big, but it's at this point when you look at Brian Kelly, it's how unprepared his teams look. I mean, they look like they don't even want to be there. So Brian Kelly, first 5 years national title, throw eggs at me, let me eat crow. I was wrong. because I said he would win a national title in that pool of talent in that state. So I want to say hello to Matt Moscona and T-Bob Hebert. How you guys doing down there? Now, Mike's a good guy. Mike Detillier that we feature every Tuesday at 2:15. And Matt and T-Bob are good. They're just passionate in a different way. They let that mouth write a check at Butt Kick Cash. How's my friends down in Baton Rouge doing? You guys all right? Sun come up? And I watched that video of the whiskey and wine after that Florida game. Woo, glory. I don't even know if it'd be rated R, G,
What do you think?
E. I mean, whatever the lowest rating. What is the MA? What is it? Mature audience or whatever? Yeah, there you go. Put that one. I mean, it was a meltdown. I mean, it was.
What do you think Kyron Lacey was yelling at Kelly?
I don't even want to say it on the air. It wasn't nice. It wasn't something you'd tell your preacher. Yeah. It would. Back in my day, Mama's hand.
What would Saban have done?
I'd have got to Tyson slap. That's what I'd have got. I'd have got pow. By the way,
did you like that Paul Tyson fight?
No, we got scammed, man.
We did.
We got played. We got absolutely.
Hey, marketing geniuses.
Oh, it was great. It was great. But Netflix showed you they're not ready for the big time. They pretend they're not ready. They're not ready. And part of that, I tweeted it out. I got so excited because it was getting a chance to relive. Many times you don't get a chance to do this. For us, growing up where we did, Michael Jordan was, everybody was, that you met nobody that was not a Michael Jordan fan. Nobody. You met nobody said, I don't like to watch Michael Jordan play. It would be like him coming back and having a chance to relive some of those glory days. And for us, we thought, okay, this is a chance. Well, Mike Tyson, we get a chance to watch Mike Tyson. And it was a dud. It was as you said, it was marketing. It was brilliant. And they made a ton of money, but they also took a lot of negative side of things. And to my knowledge, did Netflix ever come out and apologize for the streaming problems?
No.
They just pretend like it. And that's what they do in the broadcasting business. If you have technical problems, you just don't even pretend like they're happening.
Well,
like,
the viewership
when some
ratings.
idiot crashes a window in your hand, you got bleed, you just pretend, and here I am, one of those guys, very transparent, like, dadgummit, I just slapped my hand against the window. And Netflix just like, oh, that was on you. That wasn't on us.
Yeah, it never happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that was your speed on your internet. But, that was a...
I think it was because of so many people were trying to log on
and I don't know anything
watch.
about ladies boxing, but the match right before there,
That was brutal.
that was...
She got
And even the drama afterwards of the managers calling out. I mean,
she got snubbed.
I mean, how would you like to have football coaches like boxing have like a stare down, like Kalen DeBoer staring down Hugh Hefner freeze, right? I'd like to see so much boxing because there is a lot of transparency in boxing, right? There's a lot of honesty. There's a lot of I'm not talking about the way it's set up. I'm talking about the way they call one another out, the way they slap somebody at a stare down, the press conferences all. I mean, what if we took that to the football press conference, liven those things up a little bit?
I mean Saban did it a little bit.
Sell it, and they do a great job of marketing. But, man, I'm telling you, I got egg all over my face because I tuned in like, okay, here we go. We're going to watch this. We're going to watch Alabama beat Purdue, and then we're going to watch Tyson. And we're going to watch the glory days. Maybe there's just one more uppercut. There's one more punch left.
His first two rounds were pretty good, but I think after that he was
man.
like, I don't even think it was that. He definitely could have beat him up, but I think Tyson was just like,
oh, you think he was paid off?
Yeah.
Probably. He could have been. I mean,
because there were some slowed down moments afterwards on the internet. I was like,
there was.
He's
there
pulling.
was. There was. There was. So let's have some fun. We're going to Drew DeArmond. We're at 97.7, the zone up in Huntsville. Then we get to Robert in Mobile. We're doing the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Celebrate those special Alabama fans in your life. Auburn, if you guys would win more than 4 or 5 games, we might have a print about you guys. But DanielMooreArt.com, the legacy continues, whether it's Jalen Milroe connecting with Ryan Williams or if it's... there's go back to Jalen Milroe, grave digger, Nick Saban's final win, right? That was nice. That was nice to be able to knock out the Auburn Tigers. You can find it at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. Significant discount by able to put in the game, no space, the game, and tell them that you heard about it right here as you're thinking about Christmas items. Let me go to Drew DeArmond, 97.7, the Zone up at Huntsville, talking ball. Scott Tyson, 7 until 9. Drew DeArmond, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
I'm good, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good. Did you watch the Tyson fight, Drew? Did you get all?
No, not 1 second. I'm not watching 58-year-old, Mike Tyson, who was finished off years ago by, basically Evander Holyfield, and was a tomato can and finished and probably broke, and that's why he was fighting. But again, Mike was great in his time.
He was
before Evander and Buster Douglas finished him off. But again, and a lot of these guys fight too long. But no, I did not waste any of my time, which I think is valuable, watching Mike Tyson.
Okay. Well, we a lot of us got scammed, man. I mean, we're looking for a refund that we didn't pay anything for. But yeah, when you look at Netflix, it probably hinders the streaming side of things for TV, because watching something live is important. I mean, if we want to watch it on YouTube, we could watch it on YouTube. But anyway, let's not forget about that. Let's go to Mercer, Alabama, 52-7. What's your biggest takeaway from the game that Alabama played and 508 yards of total offense?
Well, I mean, I just thought they handled business. I thought, they were very efficient offensively. They had to settle for a field goal through the end of the half, but I thought they, in a way, it was a good thing. They continued to build the confidence of Graham Nicholson as he booted a 45-yarder. And then I thought, they continued to build and stack on what they'd done offensively the week before, which is they found their identity. They're a multifaceted running game, and that's involving quarterback, running backs, multiple running backs, multiple wide receivers, and then it opens up the passing game, where you can take shots down the field, because it also gets the tight ends involved. They've had the tight ends involved heavily in the passing game the last 2 weeks, and so I think the short intermediate passing game was never considered a strength of Milrose, but I think the play design of Nick Sheridan and of Kalen DeBoer he started to get more confident with that. And then when you hit a few of those, it opens up deep stuff. It did to Robbie Hughes. Happy to see Robbie, get the end zone from 44 yards out. Eventually, as this schedule goes on, and this season has flown by, but if Alabama is blessed enough to get in the playoff against that level of competition, they're going to have to hit some of these explosives. May have to hit them to these wide receivers deep shots against Oklahoma and Auburn. We'll see. But definitely, if they're blessed enough to make the playoff, they're going to have to hit those. And Milrose hit them in the past, but I think they figured out who they are. And I think defensively, their improvement has been dramatic. They forced 24 turnovers this year, and that's kind of the identity where they are defensively. It was key, because they allowed Mercer to move the ball so early, but they forced the turnovers and even scored defensively on that 66-yard scoop and score by Xavier Brown. So, I mean, I just think overall it was a good performance, and the defense has kind of improved and gotten a lot better with Jihad Campbell gaining confidence. And I think Jihad is a guy that's probably seen his stock go through the roof more than anybody on the team. Some of that is because of guys like brothers like unfortunately Q Robinson going down. But when that happens, a guy like Jihad is very, very versatile, and he can show off the ability to play inside backer, stop plays in the box, but then he can be lined up at the Wolf spot. He can rush the passer. He got the only sack of the game for Alabama coming off the edge. And then he's also a good enough athlete to drop deep in coverage and intercept passes. He did that against Georgia. So I think he's Alabama's best defender. I think he and Quay Russaw, Quay being healthy is huge. He had another interception himself. I think those are the two best athletes on this football team defensively, and they're going to be very, very important going forward. And Alabama needs to continue to get healthy. And I hate to hear that Keon Sabb will be out for the year, but the guy that's really stepped up in his stead has been Bray Hubbard, and he continues to make plays. And I thought he was really good Saturday. And I just thought all around, offense, defense, special teams, that was the good thing to see Alabama, just sort of take care of business. I thought they took care of an inferior opponent, and they didn't get a lot of injuries, man. And I just thought that was the best thing that you could see from Alabama.
So, Drew, there's so many different things that we can dive into, that we can talk about. And I admitted to the audience many times I'm a little bit of a sourpuss about these, mid-major non-conference games in the month of November. But how rewarding is it for those players, scout team, walk-ons, guys who would never see the field, to be able to step out on that field, to be able to – because if you played this game early, you're still trying to get in rhythm with your starters. Having this late, I guess it took me 24 years, but I've finally seen the value of playing these non-conference games this late in the season.
Well, and that's what the majority of this week was. And I still think you need 1 week like that, 1 or 2 during a long season like this where, it's 12 games in the regular season, but it could potentially end up being 17. If you play now an SEC championship game, and then you end up playing, and winning a playoff where if you don't get a bye. Now, if you get a bye, then potentially, you could have to win. I guess it's a 3 games. You get 1 bye, and then you win 3. I guess it is, Ryan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would it be if you get that bye, you'd have to win 3 football games?
You would,
but
yeah. Quarterfinals, semifinals, national title. Yep.
Yeah, and 4 counting the SEC championship game. So if you did that, that's adding 4 games. That's a 16-game schedule. Now, potentially, you could even play 17 if you aren't blessed enough to win, an SEC title and not get a bye. So you could play 17 games. So to me, you've got to have a couple of these where you could rest your starters, like they rested James Roberts. I thought that was another good thing. We saw Vandermark do a very, very good job. And, he's come a long way. When he first got to Alabama, it was rough. But I think he's adjusted the level of competition. I think the coaches have adjusted. And I think Alabama has done a nice job. So I just think overall you need a couple games like this to rest players and, as you put it, get a lot of guys playing time. And this coaching staff, no disrespect to what Nick Saban did, he's the greatest I've ever seen do it. But at times he had an NFL mentality where he would only play backups maybe half a quarter. Well, this group, they play a ton of guys. And to see walk-ons like Billy Roby get in and get a chance to play, these dudes that have been in this program 2, 3, and 4, 5 years, I just think it's tremendous. And even then you get guys like Rico Scott in. He's probably still going to redshirt, but he makes an outstanding catch. You saw Austin Mack throw a dart. You get valuable reps like that. And you saw how the team reacted as a whole. The morale was very, very good. I think it shows a strong culture, and it just rewards guys for working hard. And I also have liked that Kalen DeBoer over this year. You see when he announces the players of the week, he always makes sure to include walk-ons.
He does, yeah.
That's one thing that I heard that was very impressive to the players, is that he treats everybody the same, and that he knows walk-ons are very valuable. And now walk-ons have a murky future. With January coming up, we finally have a sane leader that's going to lead the United States of America. We hope that, they're going to get this resolved and get some guardrails put up, but we don't know the roster sizes completely yet. So this was a great way, though, to get a lot of guys some action, to wear a Crimson Tide uniform in front of a lot of great fans. And trust me, with all the work they do, it can be, it's just a life-changing event when you actually can tell your family, I played in a football game for the University of Alabama. It's a big, big deal.
Super, super awesome. And that was the part. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a guy that wants to see better competition, but I think when you see that and you see the way. But let's say that Kalen DeBoer, Drew, is able to navigate this schedule. What if he is able to, let's just start with an SEC title. Okay, let's just say they're able to win the next 2 games. We're going to talk about Oklahoma and Alabama. We'll talk about the Iron Bowl that's been announced, 2:30 ABC. I kind of had my fingers crossed that maybe it would be the evening game, but with the way the sun is setting, 5 o'clock, maybe Dixieland Delight would be completely dark, and we can punch those guys in the mouth. But when you look at Alabama in this conference, winning the conference championship, according to the Football Power Index, is about a 40%. I think it's the highest when you look at the SEC. Think about for Kalen DeBoer to be able to navigate this. I mean, do we give him enough credit? And I'm sure that we'll have time to reflect, but 3 or 4 weeks ago, if I'd have walked up to you and said, hey, Drew, they're going to win an SEC title, you'd have probably said, Ryan, you got your psychiatrist on speed dial? You need to call it, because this team did not look like a championship caliber football team, but they've been able to navigate it, and they put themselves in a position. If they win the next 2, they've got a chance to be in Atlanta. They'll need some help, but it's pretty awesome.
No, it is. It's they're going to need some help, but they've got a chance, and I think they can beat anybody in the SEC championship game. Texas has played nobody except for the Georgia Bulldogs. They got a lot of credit for beating Michigan. Who's Michigan? Who cares? Just like Alabama beat Wisconsin like a yard dog, and the supposed number 1 team in the country, Oregon, was lucky to escape. And then Wisconsin fires Phil Longo after the game. So, all I know is that Danny Cannell's on some kind of PCP because he or whatever drug he's on, because he doesn't feel like the SEC is, can match up with anyone. And I think that's ridiculous. I think Alabama's probably got the number 1 strength of schedule right now of anybody in the country. And I do think they can beat Texas. If they can beat Georgia, they can beat Texas. So, and I think if you're Alabama, I've gone back and forth on this. I still think with Alabama being as banged up as they are now, they understand they've lost Q Robinson and Sabb for the year. That's very unfortunate. But I think they would benefit from a week of rest and then starting the playoff and having to try to, and try to win 4 straight games to win a national championship. No question about it. But here's the thing too. It works both ways. If you go to the SEC championship game and you win it, then you still get a bye, because if Alabama wins it, they're going to be SEC champions, and then they're going to turn around and they're going to get a bye. They're going to be one of the top 4 seeds. Now, in my opinion, if Alabama wins the next 2 games and it's 10-2, I think they'd have an above average chance to host a first round playoff game. But if you get that bye winning the SEC championship in Atlanta, then you're not going to have a home game, but you're going to host you're going to be in one of these big time Big 4 bowl games, and then you're going to get a chance to play an elite opponent on a neutral field and somebody that's had to play the week before you did. So you get a bye either way. I know the one fear is, what will the committee do if Alabama were to lose the SEC championship game? Well, I mean, when I look at the teams that are eligible to be in the field, I would think a 3-loss Alabama, especially to an opponent the caliber of a Texas or a Texas A&M, because if Texas A&M takes care of Auburn, then Texas or Texas A&M is going to go to the SEC championship game. If you beat somebody like that, then I think, then of course it's going to be a big feather to cap. But if you lose the game, I still think Alabama would have a resume as a 3-loss team that's strong enough. But again, it's going to work itself out. But I could see the definite. I was asked this on a show this morning in another part of our state. What would I prefer right now? And right now, I think I would prefer Alabama getting the week of rest and then hosting a first round game and then trying to win 4 straight football games. I don't, because again, I don't know that I trust the committee, but I do think Alabama could beat anyone in the SEC championship game, but it's a huge risk. And so I think Alabama getting a chance to heal up, getting a bye after the Iron Bowl would be nice. But again, they may win all these tiebreakers. I mean, I thought, like yourself, after they lost to Tennessee, that they would just have to try to win out and get into the playoff and hope that was good enough. A lot of things have happened, but more things can happen. I still was thinking going into the weekend that loss to Tennessee after Georgia waxed that ass 31-7 the last 3 quarters. I thought that may still cost Alabama. Tennessee may finally, for the first time since 2007, with their pathetic, last, nearly 20 years of ineptitude, would finally get back to have a chance to win an SEC title. But they would probably end up losing the game anyway because that's what they do. I thought, well, okay, they're probably going to win the tiebreaker. But there's so many two-loss teams right now that Alabama may be blessed enough to win all those tiebreakers should they win out. So, again, you don't turn down an opportunity to compete for a conference title. Alabama doesn't do that. But in many ways, if you ask me my opinion, I think Alabama, getting that week off and then starting a game, potentially because could you imagine, Ryan? I know you thought about it.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine how electric Bryant-Denny Stadium would be for the playoff game?
Well, I mean, think about, and we get a chance to see it in this. It's the Super Bowl. That's the corporate game, right? And that's where college football went with their national title game. The divisional games, to me, on home sites is what makes it just electric in the AFC, NFC championships. To me, I can't imagine. I mean, just the atmosphere, the energy that it would just be. I mean, it'd be all. I mean, could you imagine a ticket value for that? Good man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh wow. Hey, Drew, I'd like for you to throw crow at me if it's okay. You got any extra crow? Because I apologize to the audience. I said that Brian Kelly would win a national title in the first 5 years. I'm not sure he's going to make it 5 years.
I don't think he is. That was some of the bad. Like, I didn't find any bad with Alabama. The bad was LSU just falling on their face and just looking inept, and then the ugly was Tennessee, which was glorious because I hate Tennessee. Everybody knows that. If they lost the rest of their games this year, I would throw a party. Like, I hope Vandy knocks them out of the playoff because they're a bunch of maggot pukes. But, I mean, I can't stand them. But, yeah, the bad was the LSU. That
maggot
was horrendous.
Puke. I got a lot of images going through my head right now. Because, see, that would be a disgusting. Yeah, but I like the analogy. I do.
I would, and of course, but another thing would be, what if they got in the playoffs and had to come to Tuscaloosa and get their ass whipped? That would be glorious because Alabama could send them home because they wouldn't be inside that rat hole stadium. Did you know, Ryan, that Tennessee never gets any calls? That's what their fans say. They never get any calls on the road, Ryan.
They
never get any calls.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I know they spend a lot of time with that. Drew DeArmond, 97.7 The Zone. How do you think this Alabama team is going to respond against Oklahoma? They're a big spread, 2 touchdowns, but Oklahoma's had 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama.
They have, and you have a lot of respect for Brent Venables and his defensive acumen, and they're good up front. Don't forget our friend Todd Bates, the defensive line coach, and he does a good job. He's been with Venables a long time. They were together at Clemson, and he went with him to Oklahoma. And their defense has kept them in a lot of games, Ron. They probably should have won 2 or 3 more games, but their defense has not been good. As we know, they fired Seth Luttrell, basically halfway through the season. They made a change. They've gone back to Jackson Arnold at quarterback. He's a pretty good athlete. He's turned the ball over, though. Their offensive line's kind of been in shambles. They haven't run it real well. I mean, but we see the formula here. I think Alabama's got to stop the run. They've got to, make Oklahoma one-dimensional. And I don't think this defense is ever going to be a shutdown team against the run, but they got to slow it down. And they've been doing better and then staying in their gaps and controlling the line of scrimmage the last couple games. They got to continue that. They've got to win the turnover battle. The only game that they lost that they didn't win the turnover battle was of course Vanderbilt. And they didn't force any. Now, they did win the turnover battle against Tennessee, but they had their worst offensive half of the year, in my opinion, when they were only up 7-0. They should have been up 3 scores and put that game away against the Vols, and they let Tennessee hang around, and Tennessee's a good football team, and they came back and won the game. But, if they win this turnover battle against, Oklahoma, and they continue to be ball hawks, I think that, they're going to put the Sooners in a tough spot because they're banged up still with their wide receiver core. The QB tends to turn it over, and I think they can contain OU. And then it's Jalen Milroe. He's got to continue to do what he's doing. In other words, be a willing runner, whether it's a called run, an improvisational run. They've got to continue to get him in rhythm, running the football, throwing it. And then Alabama has to not turn it over, because the last two games where they've been outstanding against LSU and they've been outstanding against Mercer, they didn't turn the ball over. If they don't turn it over, they're going to beat Oklahoma, because I think they're a better football team than the Sooners. So they just got to stay focused. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think they're going to have to get through an emotional first quarter, because certainly you respect that Oklahoma program. But, I picked Alabama to win this game and basically to cover 31-13. I think the spread, last I saw, it was 2 touchdowns. I think they can pull away late and cover in this game, but they got to have their minds right. And I think they do. I think this team is, I think they're really starting to, settle in under Kalen DeBoer, and certainly they've got to continue to put the work in. Luckily, they didn't get anybody hurt of consequence in this past game. They were able to give Jaden Roberts a day to rest, basically a week off or whatnot. Hopefully he'll be back in the lineup, but if not, you've got Vandermark ready to go. And I think this is just an Alabama team that should, win this game. And I think if they do, then you've got the Iron Bowl at home. There's a lot of seniors. There's guys, Jihad Campbell, Jalen Milroe, that have pro aspirations. This could be their last home game, depending on what the college football playoff does. So, there'll be a lot at stake, man. But this is where they've worked hard to put themselves in this position. And, I just think that they've got the better team. And I think it just comes down to the simplicity of out-rushing Oklahoma, protecting the ball, and Jalen Milroe playing well.
Drew D, 977 ESPN, the only sports station in the Rocket City. He does Talking Ball every morning, 7 until 9 with Scott Tyson. Drew, I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you next week. Hope you have a great rest of your week, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. And nothing sucks like a big orange.
We all agree. That is one unanimous response. Drew, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, I love his hate for Tennessee, because I'm right there with him. All of us North Alabama boys, we can't stand Tennessee. You just have to live with a few of them, and they're obnoxious. You folks down in the south part of the state, probably a little LSU mixed in there. Obviously, Auburn's always going to be there. But let's continue with more of the game. We got more Kalen DeBoer audio, the good, the bad, and the ugly. My article's Tide109.com. The old 29904 205-342-9904. Med Center Urgent Care Family Medicine. No appointment necessary. The super doctors who live and work in our community. MedCenterUrgentCare.com. MedCenterUrgentCare.com. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by Daniel Moore. And the bad of the ugly is sponsored by, do we want to congratulate Auburn on that amazing victory? Dominating performance. The bad of the ugly, let's give Auburn a break this week. We'll pick on them next week because it's the Iron Bowl week. Let's go LSU. How about the bad and the ugly, sponsored by LSU, T-Bob Hebert, and ESPN 104.5 down in Baton Rouge. Matt Moscano is going to chip in a little bit. We'll let those guys sponsor the LSU Bengal Tigers, sponsoring the bad and the ugly. Let's go to Robert in Mobile. Robert, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, my friend.
Hey, man.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Doesn't it feel good? To be talking about a win. I understand it's Mercer, but playing up to that standard and having a spot that if you went out, got to win out. Got to win out if you're in the college football playoffs, man.
Well, not to mention where we were a few weeks ago when we were wondering if we would even finish the season without a third or fourth loss. so it's nice to be here rather than where we were a few weeks ago. This game, and the folks in Norman, Oklahoma, sure don't seem to be all that excited about this game. You can get a ticket for $78.
Wow.
You get a lower level ticket for $122. God.
Alabama fans, it's a long way to Norman. It is a long way to Norman, Oklahoma. How do I know? My wife, I'm going to reveal something I have not revealed. She works through the University of Oklahoma. We have to go out there about 4 or 5 times a year. I say we, she. I go out there sometimes. I realize there's nothing out there to do, and I didn't. After about the third, fourth trip, I was like, there's nothing here. There is. It's in the middle of nowhere. You don't pass by anything. So My wife is actually in Washington, D.C., currently with the University of Oklahoma right now. So she works part-time there or does something. I don't know. She's a collaborative or something. I mean, I know she gets a little bit of compensation there from University of Oklahoma. So, but it's a long way out there. That was my only point of that discussion is it is a long way. So if you're leaving, you want to go buy some of those tickets Robert talking about, leave Thursday.
Well, I guess they're expecting a slaughter, so I guess I pay a lot of money for a slaughter, huh? But okay, you do realize it's the University of Alabama coming to your stadium, right? Not Alabama State, So,
I'm just now looking at these tickets. I mean, you pointed that out. I did not realize they were that bad.
Yeah, they confused us with Alabama State.
Hold on. What is Jackson? Real quick, Google face value for Alabama, Oklahoma, because I bet you that's a premium ticket. Because when Alabama comes to town, it's one of the reasons why we're always screwed when we go to places. We are the premium game. Does that make sense? Like if you go anywhere, we're a premium uptick in value. That's not an ego. That's just a thing.
Yeah, I was expecting an uptick, to be twice that.
What is the face value for that Oklahoma ticket?
So for upper level seats, they start at $88 to.
So basically, face value is what getting you in.
$134, and then lower is $97 to $285.
Yeah. So face value is. How many times would you get to see the University of Alabama come stomping into the stadium? Hopefully, it's a whipping. Vegas has got it.
First visit, and that's the first visit in my memory. You think it would be a hot ticket, but okay. Well, I wish I was so close to Norman, Oklahoma. I could get in real cheap. Going back to the last weekend game, yeah, it was. It's nice to see the Alabama playing and doing what we expect. Even with the case with Missouri, and now with LSU, and of course, and Mercer, they shouldn't be hanging around for halftime. And that's what you're doing right now. They're putting teams away in the fashion that they should be. They're peaking at the right time. Right now, if Alabama, if you just started right now and then look at any other games before the beginning of the season, who would not say Alabama's number one team in the nation? Everybody would. They're playing right now. Alabama's playing the best football of any team in the nation. And if you started right now from zero, then Alabama would be number one. So that shows you how well the team is peaking right now. And like I said last week, if Jalen Milroe's A game makes Alabama the best team in college football, the trick is getting him to give us that A game week in and week out. If he does that, I think we beat everybody.
Don't you feel like though that our defense has risen to the occasion that? Yeah, there's pressure on the offensive side of the football, but the way that defense has been able to navigate these injuries, you feel like that they could accept a little bit more of that responsibility too.
Right. You're right. That would have been remiss not to talk about the defense has improved as well. Again, wow. The coordinator went from dude, you don't notice to. Okay, you're getting this.
Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried. Okay, who's going to come calling for Kane Womack and going to pull a distraction in the college football? I mean, that's what I'm literally, that's in my head. I'm going, okay, how do you navigate this? Because he's going to get some phone calls. I mean, he's already been a head coach.
Well, and he should. This has been looking. It's improvement, and it's an improvement against decent teams. We'll see how it goes with Oklahoma again. If the trajectory is going where it should, Oklahoma should be put away by halftime. If they hang around, then the trajectory is back, maybe. Oklahoma's terrible. Their offense is terrible. Their quarterback is terrible. And it just should not be a contest up until halftime. If it is, all right, we still got work to do. The trajectory's gone back down a bit. But that's why these tickets are selling for so cheap, because the fans know their team is terrible. But, yeah, it's a good trajectory. I'm like you. I'm having a hard time getting a bad. There just wasn't any bad. I can't think of anything.
No, listen, I had the hardest job of the weekend. I went back to the old soapbox, man. these SEC officials, it followed it up because
that's always reliable.
Yeah, Greg Sankey went on the SEC network and pretty much said, we feel like that we're in better position. Come on, Greg. I mean, that's like the folks from the left telling you the economy's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, yeah.
Or the border secure.
Yeah. I mean that's what do they say? Gaslighting. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's trying to tell you that you're stupid and your eyes are playing tricks on you, Greg. Come on, we're not that dumb. I mean, we may not be as smart as you because you read all those books that you tweet about and flip the tires and whatever CrossFit you're doing. But at the end of the day, we're not as dumb as we look, okay? I mean, we can see. And listen, Kalen DeBoer, knowing his personality, he doesn't get upset a lot. Think about the upsets that we've seen him. It's not been the mistakes from players. Yeah. It's been the officiating.
Yeah, and he has a right to be. The good, I guess the good was we got to get down to the what string quarterback was that through the last touchdown?
Yeah, Austin Mack. Wow.
Is he the fourth string? Was it? I kind of lost count out there.
Yeah. So you do it like this is the way, at least in my order, not Kalen DeBoer's order, but it's obviously Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, Dylan Lonergan, and then Austin Mack. But I know inside that building what they think of the backup quarterbacks. I mean, they think they can win with those guys. I mean, that they are. That is a quality.
But they look really good.
That's a quality quarterback room. That's a quality quarterback room. And
bold prediction before I go. The fourth ring guy name? What was his name again?
Austin Mack. Austin Mack. He transferred from UW. He was a. Austin Mack. So let me give you a little Austin Mack story. Austin Mack was a reclassification young man. He was probably going to be a 5-star. I think he came in as a 4. He was a guy that came in from California. He did what Ryan Williams did as a quarterback. He reclassified. Okay. So he came in a year early, and they felt pretty comfortable out there. But man, I got to run. I'm up against this clock.
Real quick, Austin Mack throws a pass in the game against Oklahoma. Bold prediction.
Bold prediction. Look at Robert. The game, Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Scotland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. We're talking a little Alabama Crimson Tide football. Roll Tide. Alabama getting the win, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The bad and the ugly is sponsored by the LSU Bengal Tigers. Thank you, guys. I mean, Brian Kelly, so nice to be able to sponsor us here in Tuscaloosa. The bad and the ugly belongs to LSU and Alabama. Daniel Moore, the good moment, sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Let's continue. We go to Bubba in Northport. Bubba, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. It's rolling. Mike Price said it, but I agree with him.
Are you going to tell me if I won or not?
Won what?
The score prediction.
We'll do that tomorrow. We got several people that are super, super close.
Like on the money close?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
so the tiebreaker's going to come into play.
It probably will be.
Okay. All right.
What, do you think you were close?
I nailed it. I got 52-7.
Whoa! I mean, Bubba, take that victory lap.
Can I take it?
We won't announce it tomorrow. We're not going to change routine. I mean, if we get out of the routine, Alabama might lose to Oklahoma. We got to do what we do.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I've been playing this for 3 years. I'm kind of excited. But anyway, good game.
Now you're pretty decent on these predictions, right? Have you never won a prize package?
I never have.
I mean, you're making me better. You're making me feel guilty. What are you asking me to go through these predictions? Is that what you're doing?
No, you don't. Whatever you want to do, Brian. It's your show. I ain't gonna change the show. You know, I'm very superstitious too, so I don't want to jinx nothing. You know.
All right, let me announce tomorrow. I want to get Don Wattis, our certified accountant, to certify these. You know, we do it like the the state of Pennsylvania and counting votes. We kind of make sure that they're there, and then we need more. We just pick in a pile of here and get more.
I know Don well. We used to go to football games together.
Oh, Don's a great guy. He works for you, not the IRS.
Me and Don, Kurt Junkin, and Jackie Houston all went to see Alabama Ole Miss play in Jackson when they went up by, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then Gary Holiver came out there and just put about 60-something on them. I was at that game. Great game. Bill Curry.
Bubba, you got a lot of static on your phone, man. I don't know if that's me or you or could be both of us.
I know it's been doing that, but anyway.
Yeah, let me put. Thanks, Bubba. I'm sorry, man. It was really, really too loud. Let's go to Super Joe. Super Joe, good afternoon. You're in the game.
It's going, partner. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm having a great day. Hope you are as well, Super Joe. It's always good to talk to you. 2 days in a row.
Man.
What have we done to deserve this, Super Joe?
Man,
Alabama starts winning. Super Joe starts calling.
Hey, well, sometimes Alabama now is winning is good. Sometimes Super Joe still can't get in the phone. That was the real reason. That's the real problem.
Super Joe, you just trying to make us feel good, or I mean, are you really having trouble getting in?
Sometimes I am. That's why I tweet you. That's why I tweet you, because sometimes, hey.
Well, we always enjoy. Yeah, well, we always enjoy the calls, man. Thank you. I appreciate you dialing into us, and we have a lot of fun, Super Joe. We have for many, many years.
Yeah, no, we have, and we ain't gonna stop having it. And I'll tell you what, though, they'll talk that boomer sooner. I'll tell you what, they're gonna be doomer a lot sooner. Ain't gonna be no boomer sooner, because I'll tell you what, though, I said good 56-10 game. I said 56. We go out there ready to elect the kick ass like we're supposed to.
Hold on. 56-10.
Yeah.
Man, Super Joe, we'll take scores tomorrow on a Southern Ale House score prediction day, but 56-10, huh? Okay.
Yeah, plus I got good news. Like the Thanksgiving week, we're going to be working Sunday through Tuesday, so I'm going to go ahead and make the Iron Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and meet out there at Kit Kat and then some other fellas out there. I don't think they missed it too much.
Kit Kat brought us some good cupcakes. I haven't shared with Jackson. I shared with Chase, and I tried to offer Christian Miller one earlier. So Kit Kat's always got the goodies, man. She's got red velvet cupcakes. I tried to walk through the building and give some cupcakes to some folks, but I don't know. They some of them took it. Chase took it. He got a big cupcake. If you'd come by, I'd give you a cupcake.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'll be. I'll tell you what I receive it. Then Kit Kat's got such a great heart, and she's a diehard Alabama fan, and she's got a good smile, good personality. Her husband is, he's a blessed man to have her.
He is.
She's down to earth and stuff like that. Because I could tell you, I remember the first time I remember talking about my book, and her face was one of the faces I seen flash up. And I said, "This is like a face you'll never forget." And once we met in the old Baumhaus Victory Grill and stuff like that, she'd bought a few of my books. She was one of my top supporters in my first book. And my editor passed away 4 months after my dad. So, and then when I do my second book, I'm gonna probably have to let the university deal with it.
Gonna let the university deal with what now?
When I write my second book.
Oh, you already working on a second book? Okay.
No, I did. I kind of held out on that. I kind of held out on that because I didn't like the way.
What is it going to be about?
It's going to be about since I've been a fan, something like that. It's going to talk about my wars with the other fans. It's going to talk about how the thing, how what I saw.
Are you going to include that knockout punch that you gave I-Man a few years ago? You literally. Well, Super Joe, you should feel guilty. You ran him completely off the show.
Well, he humiliated me the first time. Good group, because I was distracted when the first time and somebody came knocking on my window while I'm talking, and I get very ill, and I get very irritated when somebody bothers me, especially when I'm doing a radio show or conducting business. And there was somebody going to tap on my window while I'm talking, and that excruciating made me sick. And it's like all of a sudden Iron Man's talking and running through, this guy sitting there asking questions while I'm on the phone, and that is just damn rude.
You literally destroyed him. You wiped the floor with him. Such a veteran, and you took him completely off the map. There was, here you are, Super Joe going all the way to the top. We lost a good caller that day.
Well, he does good supporting Auburn, and and he talk about the coulda, should have. Then he talk about Auburn, getting higher. I said, but here's the thing is, he was on the wrong TV. He was on the wrong show for that. I'm sure good well his fans be backing up. If I call one of his shows, I expect that. Because I told him, I said, look, I can come meet you and put my white jersey on, come see, and come out there and see you, or you can be out here. I'll be on my black cap and crimson jersey on. You come out this area. I said, Freddie Hooker can pay you a visit, or he can wait on you. Come to Elm Street, he'll wait, but you go to sleep, he gonna come to your house. So I said, either way it go, you're in trouble.
All right, so here we go. Super Joe, you got some good, bad, and ugly for me? Anything?
Yeah, good. We won.
Okay, hold on. Let's start there. Okay, the good. But there was no doubt that we were going to win against Mercer, were they? Were there any doubts?
No, with no doubt. But okay,
we left no doubt, didn't we? 52-7. We left no doubt.
Okay, but let's go back over with the good. The good, we're gonna move up in the rankings.
Oh, okay. Now I like that.
And see, and the thing about it is, and think about the only thing bad was, I just hate to see Auburn win. But you just give them a break, and then
I want us to do a sincere congratulations. I mean, Super Joe, will you take just a minute to congratulate them on the 4th win of the season?
Yeah, okay, y'all got the 4th win of the season. Let's give them a happy meal.
I mean, the 4th win of the season going into the middle of November, that's a big achievement. When you're a program that's lost 3 years in a row, have a losing season, and you get win number 4, you take a minute to salute the accomplishments. Hugh Hefner has turned the ship, man. He's turned it around.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze, like Hugh, please. That's what that is. Hugh, please. He ain't gonna make nobody freeze. I think at the end of the season he gonna freeze. Gonna freeze right when he unthought he gonna be right at that unemployment office. And I know good way. Ain't nobody think about no poor Eagle. They ain't way. That's poor Eagle.
I got you. All right.
And then LSU, man. Okay, it's good to see him got the victory. Congratulations. But then the bad LSU done lost again. So. And I guess what's the name? I think he better go ahead and it's bad LSU lost. And then the ugly part, I got some ugly news to give Brian Kelly. He gonna wish I believe he should have stayed at South Bend. So it's an ugly result why he left South Bend and came to LSU, because it ain't meant for him the SEC.
I got
he
you.
Could have just went on. He could have stayed in South Bend and coached Notre Dame, and he was doing a lot better off. Although we saw him in the national champion a long time ago, and we had cereal called Frosted Lucky Charms. It was magically delicious.
Roll Tide. Super Joe, I appreciate you, man. Hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Take care, partner.
Right back to you. Thank you. Super Joe with his famous, he always does the gravy too. That's when it's good. Like the Mercer win was a gravy game, right? He calls it gravy, which I agree with it. It's gravy. 52-7. Alabama looking for win number 9 on the road. Cable on the board doing something that hadn't been done since Ray Perkins, a first-year head coach. He also has a chance to go past all the coaches, right? He needs one more to tie, and 2 more to break it. Nobody in Alabama Crimson Tide history has been able to win 10 games. Overall, forget about playoffs, bowl games. Alabama has a chance to do that. Alabama has a chance to go past Frank Thomas, 1931, and also Red Drew in 1947. He's currently tied second with Ray Perkins and Red Drew. He goes by Frank Thomas in 1931 as the first-year head coach. But, hey, business first. Let's continue with more phone calls. We'll do right here on Tide. Let me.
And I never minded standing in the...
All right, there we go. Let's continue. Let's go 205-342-9904. Let's go to Marty in Arkansas. Marty, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
All is well, Ryan. All is well.
Hey, Marty, do you want a cupcake?
I went to a tailgate. I got to a tailgate stuff, so I got.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I got cupcakes. If you want to swing by from Arkansas, we'll give you one. Anybody else?
I don't know about that. Even going from here to Ryan, I only live in a town of about 100 people. Then I drive to Jonesboro, about 27. Then I got it over in Memphis, but I can get off right where I need to and get to the Bar Hospital. My good is the game. We got there, and Zach really enjoyed it. My bad is getting stuck on the bridge in Memphis, and then getting in that traffic in Birmingham at 5:30, and don't know where I'm at.
Would you come 22? You come Corridor X or whatever?
I don't know how. I came down 20 all through 22. I should have come through Tuscaloosa and got on 20 right there and come in 20. It would have been a lot easier, but we came all the way 22.
Where did you stay at? Did you stay in Birmingham?
In Leeds. No, we stayed in Leeds because his buddy he has a friend that he talks to on Facebook that's handicapped too.
Okay.
And he wanted to come see him, and they enjoyed the night. And
that is so kind for you to drive him down.
We took him over to Buckley's and stuff. But Ryan, my ugly is we got started late. There's a wreck on 459, so we got to the parking garage late. There's no place to park. We drove around, and I found a place. I parked it there near Regions Bank down there on some near a store. But when we walked up and we got back, we forgot where we parked the car, and we had to walk around 2 hours. That's why I couldn't make it to Ill House at 5:30. We walked around for about an hour and a half trying to find my car. I thought maybe it got towed away. I texted everybody in the chat to pray for us. Well, we finally found it, and we got out of there. And then getting out from down there wasn't too bad. Getting on John Paul and then coming back up 43, and then I made it home all right.
Okay.
But that was my good, my bad, and ugly. But he really enjoyed the game. Only thing he told me he wants to come tonight. He wants to see the lights go round and round and round. And he says, we got to watch the SEC team because they beat all these other teams that are on SEC. He just wanted a more competitive game. I said, no, man, we got everybody to play in Melbourne. Yeah, he said, Williams did good, and I got him a number 2 jersey ordered from Academy, and they're gonna send it to me. So he don't know that.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome.
That's what he really likes. But Ron, we're gonna move up. But I mean, I'm like Rudy Allman. I don't know if either way you get Zach. So if Zach don't want to play in the champ because he's afraid we lose. With 3 losses, they're going to knock us out because nobody on that committee likes Alabama. That's what he says. He says, everybody hates Alabama. And with 3 losses,
but see, you got to fill in the blank. Why do they hate Alabama?
Because Alabama's always won.
There you go. There you go. We've blocked a lot of teams from a lot of wins and a lot of championships. I mean,
we find a lot of coaches, and we put. You got to go back. If you got to know the history, you got to go all the way back to. And I want to say, Kit was really nice, and I met Ron, a guy that lives out near you in Coker. His brother's doing
Tommy?
real good.
Tommy,
I met Tommy walking around.
No, he's from the big town of Romulus. I'm from the small town of Coker. I mean that.
Okay, I thought both of them were close together.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just know when I come in there, I do see your town sign, Coker, turn right to Coker, but I never have. But I got to meet him. And
you know the big thing about Coker, Alabama. You know what the big thing about Coker, Alabama is?
They have that grocery store there that serves barbecue.
Well, that's what they tell us. But Cam Newton's bagman met in Coker, Alabama, to receive the $180,000 paycheck.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah. The bagman met in Coker, Alabama at the Shell station.
Where?
That was the allegations.
Well, out in the middle of nowhere, Coker's in the middle of nowhere. That's where you got to do it. Nobody got no spy glasses.
That's
on
right.
it.
Yeah.
But Ron,
no cameras out there, man.
You got to know the history. Like I said, you go back to 1925 when we won the Rose Bowl. Go to the old films when that train's coming back. You look at all the people that lined up from California all the way to Tuscaloosa on that train, cheering the that they put the South football on the map. They were tearing them all the way back. They were lined up all the way along the train line, coming all the way back. And that's why people hate Alabama, because we put football on the map in the South, and we won championships, and we keep on winning, and we get coaches fired.
Oh, time. All right, Marty. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Ron. Thanks for having a good show. You do really well.
Well,
I'm trying to get Jack to call in, but he don't want to.
This is a group effort. It's a group effort. I'm a facilitator. Jackson's a facilitator. But it's people like you guys, because if you guys were not out there listening, we'd be sitting here talking to ourselves. And so we're thankful, as we approach the Thanksgiving season, we're thankful for people like you.
Yeah, we all make the show. We have some good ones and some bad ones.
I'll let you decide which is good and bad. Okay, I'm going to leave that to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right.
Marty.
Ryan,
Marty's trying to get his shot in. Let's go to Pennsylvania. William in Cochranville, Pennsylvania. The good, Alabama's attacking defense. The bad, having to sign up to ESPN Plus to see the game. The ugly, Mike Jacobs makes Josh Heupel look like a movie star. Okay? William in Pennsylvania. Okay, Bama Nick's chiming in. Fowler, please give Bubba the prize package for the score prediction so he'll shut up his blank whining. If he had not won any of predictions in 3 years, I'd give it to him and just pour heavily. Bama Nick. Bama Nick out there chiming in. We'll continue with the game. T-Town tied 100.9, 12 College Sports Radio, Channel 84. Barrett Sallee. You can also find him on Outkick. Great website, by the way. Great website. A lot of great content right there. You can also find him at Smothered and Covered, where you get your podcast, either for the Android or iPhone platform. You can also connect with Barrett Sallee. Straight up on the Twitter account, Barrett Sallee's got a flag right there on the side of things. Barrett Sallee, welcome back to Tuscaloosa. A little different as we talk to you each and every Monday. Little excitement here in Tuscaloosa.
I would imagine there's a little bit of excitement. Some relief, and some anticipation for tomorrow night with the playoff rankings. You never know what they're going to focus on every single week, but I think Alabama is sitting pretty right now. So a lot of positivity going on in Tuscaloosa in November, which, stability at this point anywhere is hard to come by.
I heard you and Tom talking about this yesterday. Just kind of make up the rules as you go is what you think about this committee. I'm right there with you. I totally agree with you. It just, hey, if it looks like it, let's just make it up as we go.
Well, yeah, and I asked this question, and honestly, I don't know the answer because I don't think they do. But what do they focus more on? What do they value more? A good win or a bad loss? Because in the SEC, you could have 1,000 different conversations valuing each one of those things in a different way, right? So if you're valuing good, let's take Alabama, for example. If you're valuing good wins, Alabama's got more than anybody else in the SEC, right? If you're valuing bad losses, then Tennessee's in trouble and Alabama's in trouble, right? So that I think is probably going to be the storyline tomorrow when they rank these teams, because you'll get a glimpse of what they're actually focusing on, at least this week. And then they'll have the opportunity to contradict themselves in the post-rankings teleconference, because that generally happens every single time.
Yeah, listen to that teleconference. I wish that we could play that live. I don't know if we can record it and play it, but if you're not confused when you open the teleconference, you will be when you leave. 30 minutes of that after the rankings, and my head's going, okay, yeah, sounds good.
Backwards is forwards, north is south, east is west. It's like, good Lord.
It is. It's so awkward. So what are they trying to do, Barrett, when you look at this college football ranking? What are they trying to – are they trying to set it up where the SEC just goes head-to-head, and they're trying to guarantee that that's not January the 20th in your city and there's two SEC teams? I kind of feel that maybe there's a little sense there.
See, I disagree.
Okay.
Because I don't think they're considering any of that stuff. I think they're telling you the truth when they say we don't look ahead. I think that's accurate. Because if they did, then they would be tied to valuing the same thing every single week, which is something they don't want to do, because the ultimate purpose is to program the sport, right? If Alabama drops because they played Mercer, it's going to make a lot of Alabama fans mad. Mad Alabama fans watch more TV. More TV is good for them, So I think that's all there is to it. I don't think, a lot of times, people ask this question on the teleconference, and I know Reese asked it on the TV broadcast too. Like, what do you ever think about rematches or same conference in the quarterfinal? Any of that stuff. And they always say no. And the reason they say no is not because they're lying to you. It's because they don't want to box themselves in, because they want to be able to move things around on a week-by-week basis to fit whatever TV networks and whatever ratings determine what will be most beneficial.
All right. So, Barrett, let's go into a lot of different things here. So what do you think when it's all said and done, knowing the pathways, and I mean, we could go into different scenarios, but when it's all said and done, who's playing in the SEC title game, in your opinion?
Oh, man. Alabama and Ole Miss.
Whoa. I'll take the over.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's so hard to say because tiebreaker scenarios are all over the place, but I think Alabama will win out. I know the Iron Bowl is the Iron Bowl, but Auburn can't play offense. I think Ole Miss with the head-to-head over Georgia really helps itself out. And I mean, honestly, with Tennessee, that loss to Georgia really hurts them. I mean, that makes it almost impossible for them to get there. So I'm going to say Alabama and Ole Miss. But here's the thing: last week when Ole Miss was the toast of the town, it was like, oh, they're gonna roll through and be undefeated. Now it's like, oh wait, Florida's actually pretty good now. What if Florida has something to say about it? So, it's wild, man. It makes it fun. It's probably the most interesting season we've had in a very long time, especially in this conference. And look, I know a lot of folks have talked about the playoff and how they think that it's brought so much, more intrigue to the season. I think that still put the cart before the horse. Let's not worry about that right now. What is important and what is not being discussed as much is that divisionless football has made the sport so much better. I mean, so much better. Because think about this.
Georgia would disagree.
In previous years, yeah, but in previous years when you had the East and the West, the East especially would have already been decided because 4 of those teams have out-of-conference rivalry games at the end of the season, and a lot of them play cupcakes the week before. So we would already know at least 1 and maybe 2 participants in the SEC championship game under normal circumstances.
Yeah, when you look at that Ole Miss Alabama scenario, it's one that we really don't talk about here quite a bit. But I mean, very good possibility. Pete Golding gets his chance. But as this audience continues to remind me, that week off would be also very, very beneficial. But you decide where you get the week off. If you go there and win, you get a month off before you have to play again, and you can manage the portal. If not, you're going to have to manage the portal during playoff preparations.
Well, and that's going to help any SEC team, honestly, because they have the money, they have the staff to worry about that stuff. They have the ability to, hey, you're going to have to let a GA go out there and coach while the wide receivers coach goes out there and recruits, right? It gives a huge advantage to SEC schools, to any school really that has a ton of money that makes the playoff but goes to the first round, in the first round on campus somewhere, is that you have other people who can pick up the slack and handle some of those, recruiting visits and transfer portal additions and retaining players and things like that.
Are you one of the ones that pokes holes in the Texas bubble? Because we got this one guy that loves to call in a lot of different shows that listens to Tuscaloosa Talk Radio, and he's a Texas guy. And he calls in just to it's a weird guy. I mean, strange. I mean, I don't listen to Austin all day, every day. I mean, I've listened to Austin, but not. I mean, he literally he dials into us. We are living rent free in that head. But when you look at Texas, I mean, we do kind of poke a lot of holes in a 9-1 record.
You're trying to tell me Texas fans have an inferiority complex when it comes to the SEC?
No. That's absolutely what I'm telling you. Yes, it is.
Well, I think the Texas, a lot of people are poking holes in Texas because its signature win is Vandy or whatever it is, right? And I get that. But in this particular season, Texas deserves the benefit of the doubt because its floor is higher than anybody else, right? We don't know about their ceiling. They lost to Georgia, but I mean, quite honestly, they played really well in most aspects of that game other than the offensive line. I don't know, ifs, ands, buts, whatever. But the bad games for Texas are better than Alabama's bad game and Georgia's bad game. You know, they find ways to work around it better than others when things are going their way. And if you have a bunch of flawed teams out there, which we do, that says a lot, and that's important. So, yeah, you can poke holes in Texas's resume, and there are holes there. There's no doubt about it. But Texas, the team itself, doesn't play down to competition. Every other school has done that, some multiple times, and are still in the discussion.
Let's go to Alabama and Oklahoma. Oklahoma 5-5, 1-5 in the league. It's been a rough transition year for the Oklahoma Sooners, and right now you can get Alabama, Oklahoma tickets for face value out of Norman. What does that say about the support around Brent Venables?
Well, one, that they're done being excited about those 3 letters on their jersey, the SEC. They don't care anymore. B, it says Alabama fans don't want to travel to Norman. That's a unique trip. Although I guess Alabama did go there. And I guess Alabama did go there, 10 years ago, whatever it was. So it's not all sunshine and roses. I warned Oklahoma people about this. They thought they'd come in and be like, hey, we're Oklahoma, we're a blue blood and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, things are a little different around here now. And Brent Venables isn't on the hot seat. You know, he had success last year. This has been a bad year in the SEC. Some of the decisions he's made have made it worse. But, you know, I think just chalk this up. They're kind of sick of watching boring football. And quite honestly, I'd be sick of watching Oklahoma football too.
But for 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama's offense, can they make a difference and keep this game close? Vegas has it at 14. Where does Barrett Sallee have it?
Well, 14, that screams backdoor cover too, right?
It does. It does.
You know, and so home helps, obviously, but, you know, Oklahoma's defense is actually pretty good, right? So low scoring is what I would expect. And I think Oklahoma can do that a little bit. They've had their experience with mobile quarterbacks. They see one in practice every day too. So I think they can, I wouldn't say keep it close, keep it within the number, though. I think that's fair. I just don't know how they're going to move the football. Honestly, they can't move the football against air, much less an Alabama defense that suddenly has confidence.
You know, you brought up the defense, which great segue. How hot will Kane Womack's name be with some of these smaller jobs, with what he's been able to navigate and turn this into a very respectable defense?
I don't think it'll have any with small jobs. He already had one of those. He doesn't want another one, right? So to me, I would say that he's in a position now where he hasn't done enough to get himself, you know, Power 5 looks. So stay where you are and keep working toward that. If you leave South Alabama for a head coaching job or an assistant job, it tells me you have higher aspirations than just jumping at the next big thing or the next medium thing that comes your way.
But what a job. What a job that defense has been able to navigate some pretty severe injuries and to get this unit to play in a plus 10 in the last few games. When you look at the turnovers, if you look at the turnover margin throughout the season, they're in the top 3 and 4. Depends on. That's pretty awesome when you look at the
pretty
youth.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's one that maybe we don't spend enough time with.
No, we don't. He's done a fantastic job and something that Alabama desperately needed for a lot of the season because the offense didn't exactly click at all times.
That's a good point. Barrett Sallee. Find him at Smothered and Covered. Find him on Sirius XM Channel 84, College Sports Radio. Appreciate you. Hours the program, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. How about a Tundra? How about a Tacoma? 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive? How about some holiday Christmas bonus cash attached to that? You can at Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. And we come back with Toby Mack every day at 4 o'clock. It is NATO. It's going to be taking on the Illini coming up on Wednesday. So up at Legacy Arena, and we'll get ready for another. Hey, Purdue kind of hit us in the mouth. We'll see if we can hit some other Big Ten folks. But as we welcome on Martin Houston, I think Martin's got a walk-up song. We got that walk-up song ready to go? Here we go. Here we go. This is Martin's Houston song, and it was for many, many years. And then Nate Oates took over at the 4 o'clock hour. Take your team to the Final Four. Listen, here we go. Well,
you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody.
I always laugh at this because this song right here. We started playing it for Martin, but it matches up with nothing with Martin. Martin, I mean, this is not a good walk-up song for you, man. You're too humble to have this song, but here we are.
Actually, I told you that if you said the words out,
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Huh?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said if you study it out and listen to the lyrics, other than the "I'm the man" part, it actually has some pretty good parts to it. And it's really not talking about him as much as it. Anyway, we can get into it deeper. I'll explain it sometime. Okay. But I do love the song. I appreciate the kind words though too.
All right, Martin, I want to dive into a lot of different stuff, man. And I opened up the show with. I admitted I needed some crow for LSU, okay, because I said Brian Kelly was going to win a national title in his first 5 years. I'm not sure he's going to make it, but I also gave you some credit because you have always been a proponent of this mid-major game. You've always said that there was a value. And watching those walk-ons and scout team and keep it – because if you played that game early in the season, your first string's still in there trying to get reps and trying to get in a rhythm. But where it is, it allows the flexibility to reward those guys who grind and keeps them engaged. And seeing that on Saturday is a great reminder.
Absolutely. Great. And it's really been neat to watch the love shown to these guys on social media platforms. So kudos to them. But Ryan, I would even say, I've also told you, and I think it plays even more of a part now than even I'm a bigger proponent of it now for a couple reasons. One is it makes me feel so much better if Jalen were to get hurt or have to come out of series or whatever, to see Ty pulling the trigger, making plays, off script. I know Ty can stand in the pocket and throw if there's blocking. But to see him do some things, even though that wasn't the same level as what he'll face, it still showed, a little bit of that. The other part, Ryan, is having a couple of these games also allows you to play these guys, man, that may be thinking about getting in the portal. Austin Mack throwing that touchdown, who knows? That may be the difference between him going back to Washington and staying here and fighting. So I think it also will play a huge part, even in the transfer portal, building your future roster and keeping guys happy, along with the NCAA did make a few good rules. I think the four game rule is also beneficial.
Martin, each and every Monday, you're forced to come in here, and sometimes, before one, you lead us out of the gate at 6 a.m. in the morning every Monday and every Tuesday and every Wednesday and every Thursday and every Friday. But, you kind of set the tone for what we're able to do here throughout the day, building momentum. But I look back and I think about where we were at 3 or 4 weeks ago. And if we'd have walked in here and we'd have said Alabama's going to have a chance to play for an SEC title, if Alabama's going to have a chance to play for a college football playoff appearance, I mean, you would have probably got me a good psychologist and said, Ryan, you need help, man. You got too much Bama in you. But, I mean, look at the way this team has navigated this. What an incredible coaching job by not just Kalen DeBoer, but these assistant coaches to be able to get this team bought in and to play their best football where it all counts.
Well, for me, Ryan, now the SEC championship game, I thought there was zero way. Zero way after the Tennessee game. I thought zero chance. But I will say that I said on my show, we have to look at the high highs and the low lows. If they could play that well against Georgia, then that's the ceiling. And that's a pretty freaking big high ceiling that would beat anybody in the country. This coaching staff made a drastic mistake when they went in the tank in the second half and let Georgia get back in that game. But, Ryan, if you really think about it, last week I did a stat. We had outscored the 4 opponents we had played that were ranked 117 to like 40 something. And if you take out that second half of Georgia, it was 107 to like 20. 20 something. I mean, we had shut everybody else out. We gave up 7 to Georgia. I'm sorry. I did that. It was 107 to 40 with the without the second half of Georgia, because South Carolina got 25. Georgia had 7 in the first half, and LSU had 13 if you count the late touchdown, and then we shut out Missouri. So we had dominated in the win, all but that second half of Georgia, and so I felt like this team, if they could figure out how to be consistent, and this is going to be crazy, Ryan. What do you think turned the defense around?
Turnovers.
Yeah, but what do you think?
I mean, probably Jahad Campbell taking a big step, I think.
I would agree. But think about, did Malachi Moore's fit of rage with the way he handled? Did he go back in there and say, guys, I'm sorry, we're better than this? I don't know that. I'm just thinking, did he that feeling that he felt between him and Booker, even though Booker didn't manifest it on the field, they both came back and felt it. And they have been pushing. And that defense has played that way since. Even though we lost to Tennessee, the defense still had, 3 turnovers. So did Malachi Moore fit? Because you've heard DeBoer mention stuff a couple times. I'm just wondering, did that, I don't know. It's weird.
It's a great point that you look back and you circle and you think about. I mean, look at this right here. I mean, look at this stat. I mean, this is. I mean, and I'm gonna ask you about Kane Womack here in just a second, because he said something today in a press conference I have never heard a coach say. We'll get to that in a couple of seconds here. Over the past 4 games, the Tide's defense has forced 12 total turnovers, including 3 takeaways against Mercer. Over that same stretch, Alabama's offense has only suffered 2 turnovers, giving the Tide a plus-10 turnover margin in the past 4 games. They've also worked their way up. I think they're 3rd in the country in fourth in turnover margin.
Yeah, Ryan, they have 15. They have 3 or more in 5 straight games. That's crazy. I mean,
we have literally watched these freshmen grow up right in front of our eyes.
Did that if your senior going off, then coming back and recommitting himself and challenging everybody on that defense to come alongside him to never let what Vanderbilt did to them happen again on his watch, is that, part of what's led to this success? Because that's what it's been since that moment.
It's just crazy to
light
even
out since that moment. And I'm not saying it is, but it's just something to think about.
I mean, sometimes, I know that would probably get my attention. If I had one of the leaders that, obviously demanded more, because I don't want him to get mad at me. I mean, I don't want him to, embarrass me out there. So it's kind of like, hey, and I'm not sure he would. I'm sure he learned his lesson. But
who does he spend the most time with?
One more time, Martin. I'm sorry.
Who does he spend the most time with? The DBs, right?
He does.
How good have they been since that game? Since the Vanderbilt game?
Yeah, because if I got a teammate like that, I'm making sure I'm putting film session in. I'm making sure I'm not cutting any corners. Nothing. Zero. Because I saw how important it was. And, I know we reacted to it the way that we did. And I think we had a right to react to it. Yeah. But
we should have.
All right. So, Martin, you've been a part of a lot of football practices. Kane Wommack said they do a period that they don't even focus on tackling. Their entire focus of that particular period in practice is punching the ball out. In other words, they make it a point of emphasis. Not tackling, about not locking up. It is simply about trying to get the ball out. And he said, when you look back at Damani Jackson, he said he's been practicing that for 9 months. That is a drill that we do, that we focus on not tackling, focus on just getting the ball out. You ever heard of that?
Not at the college level, but it's an acquired skill. And I'm sure you'll see it trickle down even more. It's an NFL thing. And Kane Wommack has said before that they pull some stuff from certain NFL teams. But yeah, Ryan, what it used to be was that we didn't practice punching, but there was a drill where the difference in the two is this: the way it was taught when I was coming along, and the way it was taught probably up until a few years ago, was whoever was the second. If the tackle was secured, the next person, if you were the second person, third person, whatever, and that ball was exposed, you go for the ball. You try to rip the ball out. Now they're taught, if you're coming in, you come in with one arm around and that other fist to punch the ball out. And if you hit that ball right, it's coming out. I mean, if you get a good clean shot on it, and it's a beautiful thing. I've not heard of a team, at the college level, and I have not heard of a team doing a whole drill where they don't try to focus on the tackle. I've heard of the tackle it and then come in and punch it. But that's interesting that they don't even focus on tackling.
Yeah, he said we don't even they're still doing tackling, but he said our entire focus is getting the ball out. I mean, and you could see that is a point of emphasis for this Alabama football team. Some of the projections have Alabama and Texas. There's some things that need to happen to kind of make that. Obviously, they got to win out. Alabama's got to win out. How, as a player, do you block that out? Because, the one thing about this Mercer game, it used to be this week, prior to the Iron Bowl, prior to the SEC title game, you have a chance to kind of recalibrate and kind of, get some rest. Now you got to go play Oklahoma, which has had 2 weeks to prepare for this Alabama offense. How do you block all that noise out?
To me, you don't necessarily block the noise out. You use it to motivate you to focus on the right things and be disciplined to do the right thing. Hey, guys, we got a reprieve. Every goal that we had at the beginning of the year is still ours, but it's not a given. If we don't take care of our part, none of this matters. And our part is to win Saturday. I know it's a cliche, but to go 1-0, and it's going to take them, attention to detail. So I think that if done correctly, it serves as a motivation to help focus and discipline. And it appears that this young coaching staff, Ryan, has figured out, I told you a couple weeks ago, I felt like there was a culture clash. And something would have to happen for DeBoer to get, the buy-in from everybody. And I think he's got that. and I think he's shown his ability to have his team ready when they have to be ready. So I think it's actually going to be a positive instead of because it's not saying they're guaranteed. They're saying if you win.
Sure. Yeah, if you lose this weekend, then these two teams right here are dangerous because they know their season's already been destroyed, right? I mean, they're
right.
I mean, it is. I mean, you got a 5-win team and a 4-win team that you're going to play. So everything's on the table from a risk standpoint. It would make their season and knock out Alabama and keep them from playing not just the SEC title, but the college football playoffs.
Yeah, and Oklahoma isn't a bad defensive team. They can create some problems for our offense based on what they do well in terms of getting after the quarterback. So this is not a cakewalk. Now we should win this game. I think Alabama's playing better than anybody in the SEC as a whole. Of course, our most consistent part probably went south on Saturday in Burnham, but in his 2 punts, if there was anything negative.
Hey, I tried to find a bad and a bad and ugly. That was a hard job, and I went there because I know how consistent he is, and I know how he'll rebound.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, he couldn't hold water. They named him to a Ray Guy finalist award and said that he might be the first one to win it. So it shook him up a little bit. But I think you used it, Ryan. I don't think you shy away from it. I think what were these guys' goals at the beginning of the year? What did they want to do as far as having a new program and why they stayed?
Prove everybody wrong.
Prove people wrong, reestablish Alabama post-Saban, and start another run, right?
Wow.
Everything that they wanted to do is before them. If they lose if they lose Saturday or next Saturday, everything that they have worked this hard for is gone. So I think they'll be focused.
That's a big topic. I mean, this is just, you almost have to pinch yourself. It's been that much of a turnaround that this team has been able to navigate the growth, injuries. I mean, that's the other part that we don't even really calibrate. All right. Yeah. I want to take you back to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask you, what did you do when Robbie Oates went long on that touchdown pass? Because I know what you feel about, and I know they're not called fullbacks, but they are fullbacks. So, all right. He's fullback, and he's a tough son of a gun too, boy. I mean, he's built out of like Stone Mountain granite or whatever. But Robbie Oates, when you see him go crazy and catch that touchdown pass, what did you do? What was your reaction?
I was so excited for him to get that reward. Unlike me, he even though he runs a lot more routes than I do, he don't get to touch the ball the way I did, but he pays the price blocking and stuff. And so I was really, really excited for him to see him out in open field. My only disappointment, Ryan, was there wasn't anybody out there for him to finish it off on.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, that shows you just the fullback mindset. What would have been perfect was that some little DB would have been out in front and made a bad business decision. But on a little side note, Ryan, I did get a little jealous because I didn't have one of those.
Did you ever catch a touchdown pass? I mean,
No.
Never.
Right. It took me 3 years for them to throw a pass to me.
Okay.
I told the LSU story, right?
I don't think so.
We're playing LSU my redshirt freshman year, and you talking about tendency, Ryan. This was the 8th or 9th game of the season, and I had not played a pass play. I mean, if I was in the game, it was a run. Somehow I ended up on the field and Kevin was off. and I'm wide open in the end zone, and Gary Hollingsworth literally looked at me and went to the next guy.
He said, "I'm not throwing it to that guy. I'm not throwing it to that guy."
That's exactly what he said. I mean, he literally. I'll have to find that highlight show it to you.
Well, it is absolute. I mean, it's just fun to be a part of this. I mean, to be able to see this, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but win these next two games. Let's go win an SEC title, and who knows?
Do you think we have to win to get in? If we get to the SEC championship game?
Can I answer that tomorrow after the thing? Because I just smell something. And I know people go, well, you got proved wrong last year with that committee. And you're right. Florida State was left out. Alabama was in. But I don't trust them. I just and some of that's not what they do publicly. It's on that stupid teleconference that we do 30 minutes after that. I need to get you on that and let you listen to this. I mean, this stuff. Like last week, Mike Griffith asked him about how do you determine, because he talked about the eye test, He goes, this guy couldn't even explain what he was looking for. He goes, well, so what do you see when you see the eye test? What are you looking for? He didn't have a clue. Mike Griffith had him so stumbling around. It's like, okay, well, I'm just asking. I mean, because you refer to it so often.
You need to give me access to that. But here's what I would tell you, Ryan. They are the SEC and Sly. I mean, not Sly. That was Sankey has managed to put this committee in a bad spot. If they don't put in a divisionless runner-up in a conference championship and take a team that stayed home, I understand if it's only 4 teams. You understand? If it's only 4 teams. But if you take a team that technically, because it's divisionless, you're saying that's the second best team in a league. And since you've said that the 4 seeds of those conferences are the top 4 teams, that means that they're the top 8 team in the country. Technically. And if they play and they lose and you drop them, that means that you have just said that playing for a conference championship will hurt you as much as it could help you. In basketball, you don't have to worry about that. And I think that's where they're going to go, Ryan. SEC regular season champion is not worried about getting kicked out, or a top seed is not worried about getting kicked out if they don't win the SEC tournament. We have got to start thinking about this committee the same way you do basketball. There's certain seeds that you just, at a certain point, you've locked that seed in, and you can help your seed, but you can't hurt it. And that's what I think they're going to have to get to.
I want transparency. I want to put a video camera in that room, and I want you to see it. I mean, listen, could you imagine? I mean, we just watched Tyson and some fake YouTube star fight, and it was 60 million of us that watched it. And I feel scammed because I sit there like, okay, hey, we're going to get real Tyson. No, we're not. Come on, we're getting a set-up boxing match, okay? And I got so excited because I thought I was going to relive my childhood of watching Tyson fight again, and it was a dud. Put that thing on television. SEC Network, cut out some of these Mickey Mouse shows that you do, and put that on. Put it on. Yeah. Could you imagine sitting there listening to these coaches debate? You don't have anything. Put it out there.
Dang.
So one more time, Martin.
How do they defend Notre Dame, for instance?
I hadn't heard anybody ask about Notre Dame.
But that's my point. Is Notre Dame is going to get in without even being in a conference at all, so they'll always have a bypass. Let that sink in. If they hurt you for playing in a conference championship, Notre Dame will move up every single year that they have a
That's team. What I feel like that the committee has done. They've set things up. Like, I still think they're trying to cover for Indiana. I think they're trying to set it up where they can get it. Like Penn State at 4.
Yep.
Is there anything that looks like a 4th-ranked team in Penn State? I'd give anything to play Penn State here.
Yeah.
We'd stomp a mud hole in there.
Yep.
I mean, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm getting carried away.
Well, I'll let you. I'll listen in on your show on Wednesday to see where does Alabama have to be ranked for you to feel like they're in regardless.
I think if they're in that 7 spot, but they may be 8.
If they're top 7 or more, I think they're in.
Yeah, because I mean, in like the committee, or I'm sorry, the AP poll, the AP voters put Ole Miss behind Georgia.
Yep.
Martin, we just watched that game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but you know why? The early part of their schedule.
That's a good point. I mean, good point. And
early part
and I thought Kirby advocated it. His post-game interview, I got to run because I'm
great.
It was incredible. He said so much. Come down here and play this league. Come down here and go on the road. And he was. Tell you what, Kirby may be taking Nick Saban's place of them being the voice of reason. I like it.
He said, I don't know what you're looking for. So I don't know if we're impressed.
Oh, it was a great line. Yeah. Hey, Martin, throw it out, man. Tell me what everything you're involved in, and we're going to get you out of here.
All right, appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, if you're a new leader, an emerging leader, or a leader that just got new responsibilities, I would love the opportunity to help you overcome doubt, mission align your team with the vision that you have, or maximize their potential. Would love the opportunity to do that. All you do is go to martinhouston.org and sign up, and I will be glad to come work with you through the Championship Mindset Program. It'll help you once again with vision alignment, maximizing your team performance, or just helping you get settled in as that new emerging or leader with new responsibility. That's martinhouston.org. The Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Organization is here to help you get a championship mindset.
Martin Houston, 1992 national champion winning fullback at the University of Alabama. Martin, have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. Roll Tide.
Hey, it is the 2nd annual Big O Buck hunting contest now through early February. Categories include youth, adult, bow season. The prizes are better than they ever have been. Visa gift cards for every week we winner. Grand prize, thousands of dollars for the winners in each category. Take your deer, fresh or frozen, to Hicks Taxidermists, and they will judge the deer, determine the winners for that week. Deer must be taken in Tuscaloosa Green, Hale, Pickens, Sumter, Bibb, Fayette, Walker, or Jefferson. Only native Alabama whitetail deer eligible to enter contests for a specific. All right, we'll go to Josh. We'll go to Trip down in Florida. We'll go to Robert in Brookwood. We're also doing the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good and the bad and the ugly. I got you guys a big discount a couple of minutes ago. Call DanielMooreArt.com. I said, hey, let's run something through Thanksgiving and through the Iron Bowl. And Jeff said, absolutely, no problem. Special code here is a little different than what we normally do. My last name is spelled Fowler. Fowler. You can always look it up. Fowler. 20% off any product. How about that? 20% off any product now through the Iron Bowl. So that'll make your Christmas shopping save you some money. DanielMooreArt.com, whether it's the calendars or the mini prints, or if you want to celebrate one of those big prints, maybe you've got someone in your family, 20% off a print. That'll save you a ton of cash. 20% off Fowler, Fowler, Fowler. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Every Monday, the good, the bad, and the ugly is sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. Let's continue. Let's go to Josh in Georgia. Josh, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
Good afternoon, Ryan. Everything is good. I got back 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon from a safe trip to and from Tuscaloosa, and I loved it. Loved it. It was good to see you Friday night.
It was great.
And,
it was great to see you as well. And I like that shirt, man. You picked up your winnings.
Oh, yeah. Hey, not even the self-proclaimed last caller to the show, Boner Nick, has a shirt with his collar tag and the
how
great
did you get that?
So what that is, and of course I asked for your permission to do it before I did it.
That's a good looking shirt.
What I did is once you said I could use the logo, and I found me a Gildan T-shirt on Amazon, and I put the lettering across the front, and then I put the logo on the back, and it took about 2 weeks, and they sent it to me, and I wanted a shirt with the military green because I got about 4 camo hats now, or military looking Alabama hats with the OD green and the camo. So I wanted to do the military green shirt, and I knew it would turn out pretty good with the black lettering and the black picture on the back with the with the game logo on there. So, and I knew you'd like that.
That was super cool. Super cool. Super cool. Pretty good.
I haven't had anybody yell at me say, "Hey, I listen to that." I haven't had anybody yell at me for it yet, though. As far as, "Hey, I know that voice," or "Hey, I know that show," but I'm hoping.
Well, hey, appreciate the walk-in billboard.
Deal.
Appreciate.
I know. Hey, I'll start an NIL deal, and then we'll figure out a contract from there.
Well, what we may do is we may cancel Tony's NIL deal with the pharmacy at Midtown. We are, we're putting that as on the table. We hadn't heard from Tony in, I don't know, weeks, months.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
I guess what it is he doesn't enjoy Alabama winning as much as you and I, and so we don't know what happened to Tony. Tony has. We're looking for him, Tony. If you're out there, let us know that you're okay. But we hadn't heard from Tony. So what we'll do is we'll give you the pharmacy at Midtown spot. I think you've deserved that. Anybody goes out and gets a T-shirt.
I need to swing by there next Friday. Well, I don't know if they'll be open day after Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people like to take that day with family, but I'll be back in Tuscaloosa for the Iron Bowl, and sounds like there may be a way I end up at the Iron Bowl because I know people who know people who know people. You know what I mean? One of those kind of deals.
Oh,
but so I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of people. But if the pharmacy at Midtown is open on the Friday after Thanksgiving, I need to just swing by there and meet TJ and just say howdy.
Yeah, we will.
But anyways, the good, you could go with so many moments in this ball game, specifically if you want to talk about the ball game. But my good moment has to be that Ty Simpson Houdini throw to Josh Cuevas at the 1 yard line. I lost my ever living loving mind when he come down with that football. I mean, I'm sitting there, and that was on my end of the stadium because I was up in MM. And when he threw that, I'm like, and I watched that ball, and I watched our tight end go airborne, and I'm like, and I had to look at the video board to make sure he come down with it because I still didn't believe it, even though I seen it with my own eyes. I was like, good night. I mean, that was beautiful, and I think our quarterback room is going to be just fine. Plus, you got Keelan Russell coming in next year, who I just saw got moved up to 5-star status this afternoon. Had you seen that?
Yeah, did you see those stats he's been putting up?
Oh, dude, it's unbelievable. Now, I've got a buddy I go to church with. He's a Bama fan, former Army. He said he would like, if Milroe, since he is able to come back next year, if he did come back, only because Keelan Russell plays a lot like Milroe, and it might be good if we had him learn under Milroe and under that coaching staff for 1 year. I could see his point, but I also see us losing a couple of guys if Milroe decides to come back. I'm fine either way. Ty Simpson looked good, and Austin Mack to Rico Scott. Good grief. I mean, talk about threading a needle. You can't put it in a tighter spot than that right there in the corner of the end zone. So both of those would be good moments, my good moments. Bad moment, or ugly, or you could put one in the same. Well, I guess ugly we could put as LSU. I mean, they do sponsor the thing, but LSU, you went down to the swamp and y'all dropped back-to-back games. Brian Kelly, they might start calling for your head if you stink up another one like that. What SEC? I mean, I'm not asking you on the air. I can go, but I'm just thinking, what SEC games they still got left? Don't they got to play Oklahoma or A&M or both? But anyways, I'll look at that whenever I get done. And then what was that? The ugly and then the bad. I don't know where I could go with that. But I don't know. It's always bad whenever Auburn wins. There you go.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's always bad when Auburn wins.
But I would like to take a minute, if you don't mind, in the sincere voice that only you can do. Will you help us congratulate the Auburn Tigers on winning game number 4 as we approach the Thanksgiving holiday. It's pretty awesome, man, to see that program. I mean, just being able to flip the script on those guys.
To Hugh Freeze, this is in my most sincere voice. To Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers football program, I sincerely, 100%, non-voluntarily offer my congratulations on your 4th win of the season against ULM, but you still suck. That's SAUCK from Paul and Lincoln.
SAUCK. What does the AAU stand for?
The Auburn Tigers. Auburn University. So, fear the thumb next week, but right now we got business in Norman, Oklahoma to go take care of Saturday night, so I look forward to that. So anyways, hey, buddy, roll Tide. Y'all have a great afternoon. Look forward to tomorrow, score prediction day.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. And we will do a Southern Ale House score prediction day tomorrow. It is The Pharmacy at Midtown, 205-752-0627. The Pharmacy at Midtown, 1800 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 334. In Tuscaloosa, at the back of Midtown, you got the gym, you got Chicken Salad Chick, you got the playground. Right there, The Pharmacy at Midtown, close to the elevator, close to the stairs, is the only sterile compounding facility here in Tuscaloosa. Walk-in prescriptions, medicine on time, packaging, all the compounding needs. The Pharmacy. Let it breathe a little bit. Let's go to Trip down in Florida. Trip, good afternoon.
Hey, Ryan, for sure.
I debated going in that break of holding you over to the 5 o'clock hour, but I didn't want to make you wait anymore.
No, I appreciate it. Hey, listen, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I called and I was worried about the ACC and the Big 12, getting 2 teams or a piece or whatever. And it looks like that ain't going to happen, but I don't know. Maybe they'll get one. But in general, I mean, we need to cheer against Notre Dame and against any of the ACC and Big 12 to get that extra thing. But listen, yeah, everything's in front of us now, and I get that. I don't know what to say on as far as that goes, but the bottom line is I want to talk to you about Tennessee fans versus Auburn fans, and I'm hoping, well, it doesn't matter, you're a little bit younger than me, but Tennessee fans are going freaking crazy. They beat us, and we're going to be ranked above them, and they are going freaking crazy. And so, if we lose against Texas in the championship, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? So I don't like to think that way. I want us to just go ahead and win it and get in it and win it and be the number 2 seed probably with a bye. So I don't know. I want your thoughts on that, and then I got another.
I mean, you go back, Trip. Can I hold you over to the top? Let me take this break, and I want to come back because I mean, what you've asked is nothing I can summarize in just a couple of seconds. But I do think I can understand the irritation, but let me answer this on the other side. Trip, hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you right back on hold. Then we'll take Robert M. Brookwood. He's going to be first up. But Trip, I want to finish what you said. All-time scoring leader and the greatest football coaches to ever walk the sidelines. We're getting ready for Alabama and Oklahoma. We're also doing the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by Daniel Moore Art, and the bad and the ugly is sponsored by those LSU Bengal Tigers. Just lost again to the Florida Gators. Okay, so let's go back to what Trip was saying. Trip, I'll pick you back up here, but I want to say this. Here's the problem that a lot of people have with Alabama, but it's a lunch pail work boot mentality, is you can trust Alabama. The reason they put that committee put Alabama in last year, yeah, Alabama had earned their way, but if you're sitting there flipping a quarter, remember, it's all for profit. It's TV. Alabama brings the numbers. Even when they play in these little small teams, they draw the ratings. Don't ever forget about the money factor behind this college football playoff. Because if we do, it's easy too. But the biggest problem with Alabama and the biggest difference is you can trust Alabama, and you have for many, many years. They may not win every game, but they're not going to get blown out. And that's important. And that hard work, here we are. So to answer your question, I think a lot of it's just trust in Alabama.
Well, I don't know if you really answered my question, or you may have I may not have stated the question correct, because I'm a huge Alabama fan.
Sure. But you're saying why they're overlooking the Tennessee loss is what you're saying.
No. What I'm saying is the Tennessee fans are going to freak out if...
Let them.
Yeah, well, I hear you. But if we go into the championship and we play Texas and we lose and we have 3 losses and we get in over...
Oh, so you're worried about that. See, I don't think that's... I don't think Alabama would be punished from going there and losing. Do you?
Well, I don't know. Nobody knows. So that's the main consider I have. But listen, Ryan Fowler, you're going to get if there's anything close by that. Because I get smothered from the UT fans because I grew up in Tennessee. So if you even, you're going to be just like overwhelmed by, they're worse than Auburn fans. I'm telling you, if something like that happened, they're already going, Clay Travis and all of them. So. Yeah, so whatever. That's all I'm saying. I just was wanting to think on your opinion.
But the common opponent, who is Tennessee? There's a few teams, right? We have some common ground. So if you want to compare that,
they lost to Arkansas and we lost to Vanderbilt.
And so now Tennessee will probably try to run up the score against Vanderbilt, right, in that final game in Nashville.
Absolutely.
Because I'm looking down through here, Oklahoma, we need to go there and pound Oklahoma, 25-15.
Yeah.
So when you take away that comparison, and if you do compare, it's on your side. Yeah, I think. Listen, climb to Mount LeConte, the highest point, I guess, east of the Mississippi, and just start screaming. Just let them scream. Because this hard work of 18 national titles and 30 SEC titles, we take it for granted, but it's we're the king. And people should bow to the king. They don't bow enough, but we should.
I'm with you, and I think it's going to all work out.
But you really do think if we go to the SEC title game and lose,
I think we're in trouble. Do you not?
But you're counting on a loss. We never play the game thinking about a loss, though.
Well, no, that's what I said. No, I'm not
just go there and
win.
Go there and win, and we ain't got to worry about it.
No, I want us to go in there and win, but I'm telling you. So we basically need Notre Dame, Penn State to lose. We basically need Notre Dame and Penn State to lose.
If you want to poke holes in the committee,
blown out.
Well, and what is it? 10, 12, 13, 14 point spread, I think, depends on where you go. But if you look at Penn State, what have they really done?
No, they hadn't done shit.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that.
They done.
Thank you.
They haven't done anything.
Yeah.
They played the Big Ten schedule. Tell me their best win.
Well, they don't.
Tell me the best win, yeah.
All right. Tripp, thank you, man. Roll Tide.
All right. We're on the same team.
Yeah, we are. We are. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. You got me.
All right.
Yeah, that's one of those. All right, thanks, Tripp. Hopefully we got it. I think we got it. There we go. Robert Brookwood. Robert heard it, but we had to clean that up. Hopefully that dumb button worked. Maybe. maybe.
Whole trip. He needs to take a trip. God love him.
I mean, he's worried about something that's could happen 3 weeks now. But I agree with what he's saying about Penn State. I mean, we are propping up their schedule. They played West Virginia,
they haven't
Bowling
beat
Green,
nobody.
Kent State, Illinois, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Washington, Purdue, and then they finish up with
they'll get another loss.
They don't play anybody tough enough to do. They play Minnesota, and they play Maryland. As good as the top of the Big Ten is,
well, don't they? If they win out, they make the Big Ten championship game, and then they'll get beat in that, so they won't even be in the playoff. There'll be one team that loses a conference game, and they'll get punished for it because they hadn't played nobody. You got to think of it like that.
Why
Penn State.
Why would Oregon, Ohio State not play in that game?
Oh, I forgot they did beat Penn State. Yeah, so Penn State's out of it. They can't even make their conference game. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't even worry about Penn State.
Yeah.
Because committee's going to look at that schedule and they didn't even make their conference championship. They're not going to be in the
But when I
playoffs.
watch Penn State, there's nothing that reminds me of a high caliber team. I mean, what would Penn State do? And that's what I feel like this committee is doing, is they're propping up the Big Ten. They're setting it up. And they're going, what we're going to do is we're going to set up where we can get the maximum number of teams in. That's what I smell in this committee.
Well, Indiana's out of it if they get blowed out by Ohio State. But, part of me wants to see them beat Ohio State. I like to see an underdog do good every now and then, So I wouldn't mind seeing Ohio State with 2 losses.
And
they wouldn't. They'd be out of it, too. They wouldn't make the conference game. Indiana would, so.
Yeah. Well,
Oregon doesn't look too stout. Their strength of schedule is not good. I was hoping they'd lose the other night, but they didn't. But Kirby really stood. I don't like Kirby, but he stood up for the SEC the other night. I give him credit.
He did.
He hit it. He sounded like Coach Saban.
He said, y'all bring it down here and play in this league. Play on the road in the SEC. Good luck.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't really know what they're looking for. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And people up north will slam him for that comment like they do every time he says play on the road in SEC. It's hard. They all come after him.
Well, Tennessee fans are crying, but you got to look at their common opponent. Yes, we beat Georgia. They lost to Georgia. Yes, they beat us. They wouldn't beat this Alabama team playing right now, but that's here and there. They won. Give them credit.
Yeah, give them credit.
But common opponent, if you want to go common opponent, sitting right now, if it was to go right now, they'd miss the playoffs because Vanderbilt, we lost to them. They're 6-4. They lost to a 5-5 Arkansas team. So you have to look at it like that. Their loss would be worse than ours.
That's what I would sell on this Oklahoma game. 25-15, they beat them out in Norman. Josh Heupel's returned to Norman. We need to go out there and beat Oklahoma and beat them bigger than Tennessee did. Where the comparison is, So
well, Kentucky's a player for Ole Miss too. If they want to try and squeeze in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I mean,
Ole Miss could be out of it this weekend. If Florida's on a roll, they could beat them at the Swamp.
Kentucky always finds a way to beat Kentucky, do they not? I mean, we start out, look at this, look at that, look at that. I mean, Kentucky always finds a way. 1-6 in the conference, 4-6 overall. I mean, some things will never change, right? I mean, Kentucky will always be Kentucky.
Well, can I ask? I want to make a comment, and I want to ask a question and make a comment. Let's get on. The question is, should we be concerned about some of these people? I think I sent you a text the other day. You must have been busy, but some of these people that's decommitting, do we have better commits coming on, or is it something to be worried about?
I mean, it does grab your attention as you approach, but that's going to happen, right? I mean, you're sitting here December the 4th, early signing day starts. What are you, 2 weeks out? 2 weeks out?
I was fixing to say how close to we are. It is in December.
Yeah, they've moved it up, though. So it's not just that typical early signing period that was in the middle of December. Now it's up. So so it's December the 4th is when it starts. So you could sign on that Wednesday. And the calendar is so screwed up. I mean, that you could be the SEC.
Well, they were also talking about Alabama could get a commitment of a highly rated defensive back to Ole Miss and get that back. So who knows? It is confusing.
So, but you look, and I just saw a metric just a couple seconds ago. I saw the metric where, play with probability. I like the probability side of things. And I saw where Alabama has got like a 60-something% Here we go. Here's football, ESPN Analytics. Texas is 74% to make the SEC title. We're 69%. And you go down quickly. Georgia 37, it cuts in half. Texas
is this
A&M.
still based on if Auburn upsets A&M? They have, and then A&M beats Texas. You got everybody with 2 losses.
The one, and people keep saying Missouri. If Missouri beats Mississippi State or Arkansas, well, they're going to beat Mississippi State. I mean, come on. I mean, it's Mississippi State. I mean, they're 0-6, 2-8 overall. I mean, but I'm not as nervous about as Tripp is. Tripp's on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, I don't think Alabama get punished if they lose an SEC championship game. In fact, I think if they can, keep their mind on Oklahoma and Auburn, and they'll beat Texas. So I ain't really worried about Texas. Real quick, basketball. I hope it hadn't set up to be. I hope it hadn't set up to be a disappointing season. I think last year myself was an aberration. They just cannot beat somebody good on the road in pre-conference schedule. I do not understand it. You've lost 3 in a row to Purdue, who's not even going to be a Final Four team. I just hope we ain't looked into much in this basketball thing. They're just very disappointing sometimes. I just don't understand it.
A little sloppy. Robert, and we'll see. We got some challenging games ahead. You got Illinois.
Yeah, we got Illinois Wednesday night. That's a big one. All right, brother. You have a best night.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
I just want you to, if you don't mind, I'd like for you to stomp on the grave of LSU Bengal Tigers, if it's okay.
I was rooting for them against Florida because I don't like Florida. But then again, I said I was rooting for LSU. Anyway, I don't want them to fire Brian Kelly. I just do not want it, because one day LSU's going to get it right and get the right coach. I want him to win out, finish 9-4, assign him to another 3 or 4 year contract, and because his career is based on that win against Alabama 2 years ago, an aberration of a sorry defensive call by Pete Golden, 2-point try. So I want him to actually win out. I want him to man the stage because he's a very beatable coach. Of course, they deserve 3 in a row. Then again, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they lose out. Finish 6-7.
Well, as just much as been barking as those guys over there.
The ugly and the bad is LSU. The good, I'm going to give good to Kirby because he spoke up for the SEC.
Man, that is, it was good. Kirby went out there and
he did. He sounded like Coach Saban. You could tell who he coached under.
I said that earlier, that maybe he's becoming the voice of the SEC. He stood up and said, hey. And what is he? Is he year number 10? Is that right? He moved over there in he coached 2015. Here's 9.
Man, has he been there that long?
Let that sink in.
You're number 9.
Yeah,
You're number 9,
2015, because I remember interviewing him in the locker room in Glendale, Arizona, after we beat Clemson 2015, and that was his final game as a University of Alabama head coach after 9 years. So he's been there 9. He coached here 9, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think it's 9.
He stayed to coach that game, too.
He did. Yeah. All right, look at us showing respect for the bowl haircut guy. Thanks, Robert.
The Mo haircut. Greasy hair. I just want to grab him and wash his hair because it never looks like it gets washed. You could turn him upside down and squeeze all the oil out of his hair into my truck. Have a good night, brother.
All right. Do you have timberland you don't know what to do with? Well, let some consultants come in. North River Timber Company. Call Courtney Wyatt and his team of over 20 years experience in West Alabama, East Mississippi, offer timber harvesting, timber appraisals. Now, let me tell you why that's important, right? We know that what happens here in this community, inside this state, in the South, you need to have that timber appraised where you can have a loss, right? If something does happen, you don't want it to happen, but unfortunately storms happen. You need to have a current appraisal and let those guys guide you through it. Comprehensive management plans as a registered forester in Alabama. Courtney and his team can help you decide how to maximize the highest potential for your land. Courtney says timber is like money in the bank. See why your investment can do for you. Call Courtney Watt at 205-242-5127. That's 205-242-5127. North River Timber Co. Home of the 20-inch pizza pie, pepperoni, meat lovers, cheese. Design your own wings, boneless wings. You'll find those. If you're looking for a full-service restaurant, thestandardbama.com. Also available by DoorDash. You can also do carryout as well. It is thestandardbama.com. Thestandardbama.com. Let's continue with more phone calls, and we go here to Joseph. Joseph, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
It is. What's up, Ryan Fowler?
Roll Tide. You in a good mood? You in a good mood?
Oh, always, baby, always.
You see, Jalen Milroe could be, I think it's a 15-1 odds on winning the Heisman Trophy.
Hey,
not the favorite by a long shot, but he could be there as a finalist.
I don't care what Miro done. Did you see what Ty Simpson done the other day?
I did.
Breaking that tackle, stepping up, throwing the long ball. I ain't saw Miro do nothing like that, Ryan Fowler. That's a Eli Manning play right there. Even the announcer said it.
Okay. Well,
even the announcer said that's an Eli Manning going on right there.
Eli Manning.
Yeah, he didn't play like that in the Super Bowl.
Okay. So you're ready to go ahead? I mean, do you want to bench Milroe and start Ty Simpson?
I would like to see what the results will be, but that's not up to me. That's not the head coach of Alabama football.
Okay.
And I don't get paid $6. Hey, on all seriousness,
I think we should bench him. I think we should bench him.
I think we should have packages. I mean, for both.
So bench him and have packages. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best runner on the team, the fastest guy on the team. You can't keep him off the field.
And I hope people can read my sarcasm because I'm being very sarcastic.
Oh, I can read the sarcasm, my Fowler. I mean, anybody can.
Well, I know, but some people out there are like, he said bench Jalen Milroe.
No, everybody can read sarcasm, my Fowler.
But I don't know. So not everybody. Not everybody. I mean, you'd see some of the app messages. You disagree with that.
Hey, Ryan, all jokes aside, this recruiting decommitment could turn out serious. Because we rank number 6 in the country right now, I think, in recruiting. So we went from like number 1 to 6. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean we're moving down. We've had some 3 decommitments.
Yeah, a 5-star wide receiver. But I heard he decommitted because of NIL, and then I heard Ohio State offered that linebacker some money to come on NIL. That's why he
Joseph,
decommitted.
we're all circling back to what?
NIL.
I mean, that's a big part of it, but I think when you look at it, when we get to December the 4th, now also, don't you want to save, Joseph? Got to keep in mind, you got to manage 85. You got to manage 85 scholarships. You may have some immediate portal needs. Depends on who goes in. So you may need to go get some positions, right?
I would go out and get a quarterback, Ryan Fowler. I'll be honest.
Oh, so I thought you said Ty Simpson was the guy.
I do, but I want some competition with him. In case he don't work out, we got somebody there to say, hey, you know what, buddy? I'm taking the job.
So you got 20 commitments right now. How in the world is Auburn at number 4? I'd be worried about those 28 commitments. How many are academically ineligible?
I thought they got a good quarterback committed over there, and we do too. But I mean, I'm looking at this, Ryan Fowler. We need another 5-star wide receiver to help out Ryan Williams. That's what we need.
I think. I don't know if you watched the game on Saturday, but there was some. I think that wide receiver room is going to be just fine.
Oh, you think Caleb Odom will help him out? Don't you think Caleb Odom?
I mean, Rico Scott looked pretty solid too, did he not? Did you see those hands?
Yeah, he did. But what I'm saying though, Ryan, we got to replenish some of this talent because we gonna have.
And sometimes competition kind of runs you away, doesn't it?
Well, you know what Nick Saban says: you want to play with the best, and you want to be. And the
I don't dislike Caleb Cunningham from Akron, Mississippi. But that's small football, very, 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 very tiny football. I still think the talent's there. I'm not trying to discount that. But I don't know if he's a plug-and-play guy. If he's a guy, year number 1, that can make an impact. I'm not saying everybody can be Ryan Williams. I mean, but can he make an impact day 1? I don't know. I mean, I think he's a project guy. I think he's a guy that they see in potential, but I think he's very, very raw. Very raw.
Ryan Fowler, why do you say, is Bama Nick called yet?
No. Is Bama Nick your favorite caller?
He is one of my favorite callers. I love Bama Nick.
What do you like about Bama Nick?
Bama Nick, he tells the truth, Ryan Fowler. He just tells us the truth, man. I'm telling you. But and like I said, everything he says, he don't mind stepping on some people's toes, Ryan Fowler. He don't mind it at all. But man, that's really got me concerned, those decommitments. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Ryan Fowler, if we go to the SEC championship and lose, they absolutely would penalize us. They're not letting the 3-loss team make the college football playoff. There's too many 1- and 2-loss teams out there they put in over it. So pretty much you will get penalized if you go and lose.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I don't know this committee. I mean, we're still trying to judge some of their tendencies. I mean, at this point, it's hard to kind of wrap your head around what they're going to do.
My question is, how are you going to leave a 2-loss team or a 1-loss team out versus a 3-loss team? You know what I'm talking about? You got a 3-loss team sitting there, and you got a bunch of 1- and 2-loss teams trying to get in. You know what I'm talking about?
Take Indiana for an example, okay? So Indiana plays Ohio State this weekend. Let's just say they get thumped. They play Purdue, worst team in the Big Ten, next week. Rivalry game, no rivalry game. IU against PU is what they call it in that state. I mean, they'll win that. So you're basically sitting here. That's why I think the committee has set this up, putting Indiana where they're at.
But you know, I gotta.
Because you can't look at that team and say,
I got something to solve this NIL issue, Ryan Fowler.
All right, talk to me.
What you do is, if these players want money, you give them the money, but you make them sign a contract. Hey, you're gonna stay here this long and play for this long. You know what I'm talking about? We give you the NIL money, but you're going to sign a contract for it. You know what I'm talking about? And that you got to stay at this college for this long. You know what I'm talking about? And then that binds them, that binds them by law to stay at one place.
So you just kind of proportion that out, if whatever the money you give them. But it's all about the market, though, is it not? I mean, if Ole Miss is doing something different,
they have contracts. They have contracts. At some point, Ryan Fowler, you got to get a hold of this thing and put contracts on kids.
Well, and I know I don't want to go down this political route. I'm tired of it. I've had enough of it. It's eating me alive. I mean, it's just, it gets tiresome. But I will say this. But I want to take you down the political route. I mean, I'm not discounting anybody that does. I was trying to watch Fox the other day just to kind of get a little bit of update. And, these people that, you got people that want to take the victory lap, and you got people that want to tell you why you were wrong or tell the nation why they're wrong. Having a conservative, because look at Ted Cruz. Who was there when Nick Saban was speaking on NIL multiple times? Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz won his big seat out in Texas, or remain, the incumbent one. He was a guy that may head up this NIL thing. So you've got a conservative executive branch. Your judicial branch is leaning to the conservative side, and both, the legislation branches with House and Senate, you could be sitting here with some NIL proposals on the table.
You think they really worried about football, Ryan Fowler, when they got bigger issues on the table other than football right now?
I mean, I don't think it's number one, but I think it's up there.
I mean, they got a country in trouble, Ryan Fowler.
Well, they do. They do. No, I agree. Joseph, I got to run, man. I appreciate you, but I'm just telling you. You asked my opinion, I gave it to you.
What I'm saying is, one was to make these kids sign contracts, Ryan Fowler. That's all I'm asking. Why can't we make them sign contracts?
I'm sure there is something out there. I mean, I don't know if it's a contract like what you're saying, but I'm sure they don't roll out there and roll up a Brinks truck to it. Joseph, I got to run, man. I appreciate it. Let's continue with more of the game. We'll get to those. Blueberry Steve, Montreal, Pat, and also Joe and Dothan. Joe and Dothan, third up, and others as well. We're going to squeeze in as many as we possibly can. It's a good, bad, and ugly Monday. The good is brought to you by DanielMooreArt.com. Fowler is the code word. We are giving away between now and the end of, it's almost the end of Thanksgiving. Post-Thanksgiving, we'll stop it on that Monday. That'll be December the 2nd? So it's actually through November. 20% off any of the products. The code word is Fowler, Fowler. DanielMooreArt.com. Legacy continues. Maybe you want to celebrate Gravedigger as we recall the Jalen Milroe to Isaiah Bond play. Yes, sir, absolutely. Taking down the Bugs. Nick Saban's final trip to Jordan, Jordan, Jordan Hare Stadium, across the state. It was not Michael Jordan. It was Michael Jordan. Just because those hillbillies can't say it doesn't mean we don't have to. Gravedigger play, you can find that. If you want to find Deuces Wild, Ryan Williams catching that pass. How important is that pass? 75 yards from Jalen Milroe. Xavier Brown catching the interception, sealing that victory. See it at Daniel. How about a little Mark Smart downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge? You want to dominate the grill today or any day? Mark Smart, downtown Northport. Also think about the hams and the turkeys that have already started to arrive, but as we approach Thanksgiving, man, it is here. I mean, you blink in college football and Thanksgiving. They got the Priester's pecan pies, those options, all the different pecans that you're looking for, and be a great place for your Thanksgiving headquarters. But if you want to dominate the grill today, you can visit Mark's Mark. They're open until 7 p.m. today. Downtown Northport. Let's go to phone calls, and we go to Blueberry Steve. Blueberry Steve, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
All is really, really going well, Ryan.
Roll.
I know that you got a lot of callers, and I'm waiting patiently. I have a lot of things to say, but I'll make it quick.
All right.
Okay. First of all, props to Jackson. I mean, good choice of music. I like Steve Miller. He actually I was telling him that, Paul said that we should be using McGuh, Make Canada Great Again. But he suggested, Menage, Make North America Great Again. Rolls off a little better. Make North America Great Again. Menage, I'm going to be speaking.
America Great Again.
I'm going to be speaking to Poilievre's people next week, and we'll see if Jackson will get attribution for that. About the rankings, Bama at 7. What's more of a joke? Tell me. Penn State at 4 or Notre Dame at 6? What's going on?
All of the above.
Jesus, Murphy, it's ridiculous. Good, bad, and the ugly. Okay, so I will say the same thing that I heard the announcer say when I watched the game. When did you ever see 4 quarterbacks in a game?
Yeah,
without an injury.
And by the way, I went back and watched the TV version.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm gonna be nice. I was about to say something. Has anybody ever heard the announcers?
I was watching it, so
I know, but I mean, am I missing something? Is that anyway?
Oh, they made a few mistakes. By the way, is Bama Nick aware that the TV broadcasts, when they go to commercial, they play "Wild Thing" by the Trogs? Is he aware of that?
Who plays it?
Well, on the TV.
Oh, the TV.
Yeah.
Did not realize that. Did not realize that.
Huh? Anyways, my good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good is the 4 quarterbacks in the game, but Simpson escaping the sack and his pass to Cuevas. Lonergan didn't get any passes, but pinpoint accuracy on a couple of. He didn't get any TDs, rather, but the pinpoint accuracy on a couple.
He's a gunslinger, man. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Hey, Blueberry, Steve, I'm trying to squeeze as many as I can right here at the end. I'm sorry.
Okay, bad is well, okay. Anyways, I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed seeing Austin Mack.
Are you still thinking about coming down? You still thinking about coming down?
We're hoping. I'm baking. It's basically my son. I'm going to pay top price for the tickets. It's my son's decision on his schedule for the game against the Bugs. So, anyways, okay. Roll Tide and roll Managa. Make North America great again.
Thank you. Blueberry Steve helping us out there. Let's go quickly to Pat. Pat, 2 minutes. Let it go.
Hey, Ryan. I don't know what that boy is smoking, but number one, we got Keenan Russell coming in to add to this quarterback class that's already. We had one quarterback that came in after Ty. He threw 5 or 6, and then we had that tall drink of water come in and slung 139 yards for a score on a rope. What does he want? Huh?
Well, I mean, and you look at recruiting. Yeah, you got to manage that quarterback room. You got Keelan Russell.
You darn right. We don't need no more quarterbacks on that coming in. I mean, Keelan Russell is a top 5 quarterback, probably top 3 quarterback, and hey, way he's playing out there in Texas, he looks like the number 1 quarterback to me.
Yeah, what is it, like 45 touchdowns? By the way, he's a 5-star unanimous now.
Yeah, he's the man. I think he's somewhere in the top 3, Ryan. Somewhere in the top 3.
3,000 yards, 307 yards per game. It comes Hayes Fawcett. 45 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Let that sink in.
Yeah, let that sink in. And he has the number 1 wide receiver in the nation in his ear every cotton picking day. He's able to get in that boy's ear.
I think they scored like 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. So, yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's amazing. But no, I just can't understand what he wants. Ty did a good job. But Dylan didn't get to play long enough. If Dylan came out on his drive, it wasn't because he was stopped. They just needed to get the other boy a little time. But I mean, there just wasn't enough time to go around for 4 quarterbacks. It's just the way it is. I mean, we're having embarrassment of riches, Ryan.
That quarterback room is talented. Pat, I appreciate you, man. Roll Tide.
Yeah. Hey, have a blessed day. Thank you for my gifts today.
Yep.
And Mark.
Yep. Thanks, man. He won the prize package on the SEC Parlay Pick Contest on Friday that we announced. And let's continue. Let's go to Joe in Dothan. Joe, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, Ryan. I know you're almost out of time, so I'll make it quick.
Okay.
I tuned in late. Can you just explain? I don't understand how we would go to the SEC title game over Tennessee if we both have 2 losses and they beat us head-to-head.
It's the opponent winning percentage. But, the tiebreaker head-to-head is only if there's 2 teams out there. You got multiple teams with 6 and 2, which could be –
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
Then it drops down. So when you look at the head-to-head, if it's 2 teams, then – because you can't do head-to-head to head-to-head. So it's all about a winning percentage, your opponent winning percentage. Thankfully, Alabama has they played some teams. Maybe we've given them confidence. Maybe that – hold on, Joe. Let's make this make sense. Kalen DeBoer allowed these teams to play up, and he walked out with confidence. See, he was setting it up.
I hear you.
I mean,
and Ryan,
think about South Carolina. I mean, they came for Tuscaloosa, and we gave them confidence. Now they go out here and win. It's helped our opponent winning percentage. See?
I hear you. And Ryan, I hope you're right about the whole if we were to lose the SEC title game. But Ryan, I just think that's a very big assumption, especially if you got several other 2-loss SEC teams. I don't think anything's guaranteed. But like you said, we don't know because this is the first year of this playoff, so there's really no tell.
Yeah, but use the head-to-head. All right, so let's just say Alabama loses to Oklahoma or Auburn. And then it's just, let's say Texas A&M gets beat, bam, get them out of there. Let's just say it's Georgia and Tennessee sitting there at the end. Then we'd go back to head-to-head. So my understanding is it's multiple teams, but there's a website called bball.nothing.net that does the opponent percentage. It's very intriguing to look at the math. The SEC needs to make this where the average person can understand that it doesn't take an analytics stats guru. But, yeah, they would be above Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Texas A&M based on the conference opponent winning percentage, which is the it's a second criteria. So, hey, Joe, thank you.
I got you.
Yeah. So
thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Roll Tide.
Basically, in other words, Tennessee, your schedule, your teams after you beat them didn't bounce back. So Kalen DeBoer's smart. See, he did this on purpose. Let's go to Bama Nick. Bama Nick, 2 minutes. Let it go.
Yeah, 2 minutes, fella. Thank you. I talked to you more off the air for 4 minutes than I have on there, but I'm going to go real quick.
Well, we start this show at 2 o'clock.
It don't matter. I want to listen to boring-ass callers that call in there, but I'm saying Joseph
Number 2 caller. He's done made it up to the number 2 slot, fella. Blueberry Steve, great call today. I listened to you. It's a great call today. I like Blueberry Steve, fella, and I know it's short. You want to get me off here before I get into my rants, but I ain't ranting on nothing.
You having a good day?
Josh from Georgia. Bama Nick never needed to make a T-shirt saying I called the Ryan Fowler show, the Paul Feinbaum show. Hell, everybody knew me, Josh, when I walked into a damn bar or a motel or the courthouse. Bama Nick from Americus, Georgia. Josh, until you get that celebrity status, you can do all the T-shirts you want in the world. It ain't gonna help you, brother. Roll Tide, Ryan Fowler.
Roll
Bama
Tide.
Nick out.
All right, let's go to Ellis, Manchester, Tennessee. Ellis, good afternoon. You're in the game. Got about 45 seconds.
I hate to say it, but Joseph is no number 2 caller. He's not even in the top 1,000.
I would agree.
Yeah, but I'm just ready for this weekend. We got to win. We got to stay focused.
Well, and go out there and beat them. Go out there and beat them by a good margin.
We got to go out there and beat them Boomer Sooners, Ryan Fowler.
Roll Tide. Thank you, Ellis. I hope
Roll Tide, Ryan Fowler.
Roll Tide. Big, good, bad, and ugly. The good sponsored by Daniel Moore, and the bad and the ugly sponsored by the LSU Bengal Tigers. We appreciate their sponsorship. Big thanks to